We are back. We're starting back a little later than I had originally planned, but we ended up doing errands and stuff, so it was not a bad day, at least. So we got stuff done. We're progressing through this story. I'm gonna play for about 3 hours because I usually stay up until about midnight on this. Plus, I want to take a shower before I go to bed. So I'm giving myself to midnight. We're still in the prologue. I did not realize the prologue / main chapter is long, which might explain why there's only 5 routes. And we picked this thinking it was going to be a shorter story because there was less routes. Alas. But so far the guys look really interesting. I will say that the first chapter, just kind of introducing everything, was a bit of a jumble. But you know, I was getting sleepy, and I shouldn't have been sleepy. That was the only thing. So far we have met all the eligible bachelors. I've learned some of their voice actors. We've got this guy who's a fallen angel who loves Atomi games. Really relatable. Love that about him. We have the demon lord guy. He called himself like the boss battle. We have the headless knight, who is, as described, a little whiny baby boy with fire for hair, which he's pretty cute. And then we have the police officer kind of guy who's older. Our character is 19, he's 46. The closest in age to us is the Beast Boy. He's 25, and everyone else is 100 or more years older than us. I mean, I guess I was talking about how I'm tired of having such young, dateable characters. I found the game. They're all quite a bit older in this one. They don't look it. One of them does, but everybody else is not. Alright, Leah, what will we be working on today? It was the next morning. Il asked his questions somewhat happily as I make my way down the stairs to the cafe. For today, I'm going to hold off on preparing for the cafe opening and focus on buying some groceries. I checked the fridge and realized we're out of a lot of things.
その残りの食材も昨日の昼食と夕食でほとんど使い切ったようだったからな。
We seem to have consumed much of it during yesterday's lunch and dinner. I nod in agreement. However, that's where we have an issue.
買い出しに行くのはいいとして、君、この街で買い物なんてできる?
I think going to purchase groceries is fine, but do you feel comfortable doing that?
引っ越してきたばかりだし、どこに何の店があるかなんて把握してないんじゃない?
You're still new here. I don't presume you know where all the shops are, right? Alright, I don't know all the area too well. Although I don't know the area too well, I'm sure I can make my way using map apps. It would actually be very, very helpful if someone were to come with me just in case. All of their eyes darted around the room.
君たち、予定空いてる?
Are any of you free?
俺は今日倉庫の片付け任されてるから無理だぞ。
Well, my job is to clean the storehouse, so I can't.
私もお願いされていた帳簿ソフトのプログラミング作業があるので難しいですね。
I have been asked to program the software for our ledger, so it'd be difficult for me.
安心しろよ、迷子常習犯。てめえは最初から戦力外だ。ミシェル、お前はどうなんだよ。
You would have just gotten lost anyway. She would have been doomed asking you. What about you, Meister?
ついていきたいのは山々だけど、午前中に総案が懇意にしてた焙煎業者からの連絡が来る予定なんだよね。
I really would like to go, but we're expecting a call this morning from the coffee roaster Soren knew quite well. Roast merchant. A merchant who specializes in roasting raw coffee beans, sometimes simply called a roaster.
ここでコーヒーに一番詳しいのは俺だから、君たちに代役を任せるわけにもいかないし。
I know the most about coffee out of anyone here, so I can't leave it to you.
ならリンドを呼びつけりゃ、つか、呼ぶついでに買い物させちまえばいいんじゃねえか?
Well, you should just call Rindo. Wait, why don't you just call him over and have him pick up the groceries on the way here? The man isn't a delivery service.
それに彼、今日は忙しいって言ってたし、来店自体難しいんじゃない？
Besides, he did mention that he would be rather busy today. I'm not sure he has the time to come by. The only one left is... Everyone's eyes shot in the same location.
であれば、我が友をしよう。荷物持ちも任せてくれ。
Then I shall accompany. You may leave the heavy lifting to me. I assumed it was going to be him this whole time. Banging his chest, Canis proudly volunteered his service. Eager and ready to go, he was already putting on his helmet to greet the outside world. I was grateful for this gesture of his. Um...
なぜそこで悩むのだ？
What troubles you? I feel like there's going to be some sort of trouble in every sense of the word. Someone's definitely calling the cops on us. Oh, right. Mystery, can you cast a spell, one that could block someone's perception towards Canis?
やってみてもいいけど、あれ地味に手間がかかるし、高等な魔法なんだよね。
Well, I can, but it would take a while to cast and it's high-level magic.
失敗すると対象が内から爆発するけど、それでもいいなら試してみる。
And if I fail, then the subject's organs explode. Is that... If this is okay, I can try that if you want. That's terrifying.
ミシェルの魔法は大雑把なので、自分以外の対象かつ範囲が限定的なほど危険性が増大するのです。
Monsieur's magic is quite difficult. It becomes more dangerous when casting it on someone else or over an area.
それで今までアンシャンテと自分にしか使わなかったのかよ。
So that's why you only use it on yourself and Enchante. What about you, Il?
残念ながら、ミシェル抜きで他者の意識へ干渉する術を試したことはありません。
Fortunately, I've never tried confusing someone's awareness without Monsieur. The chances of his failures were the same as Monsieur's. Then...
マスター、なんとか我を使ってはもらえないだろうか。
Leah, is there no way I can convince you to use me?
我は不器用ゆえ、力仕事やこのぐらいのことでしか、あなたの役に立てそうにないのだ。
Considering my clumsiness, the only way to be of use to you is with my strength. I am worried, but I feel conflicted turning away someone with such good intentions. After thinking it over, I make up my mind. Okay, I'll take you up on your offer.
うん、任せてほしい。いかなる危険からも、あなたを守ると約束しよ
う。Yes, you can count on me. I vow to protect you from whatever perils seek to obstruct our path. I hope he knows this is less of an adventure and more of a trip to the grocery store. Are we going to be okay?
まあ心配すんな。外出程度で騒ぎになんなら、とっくに俺らが止めてる。
Don't sweat it, Leah. If we didn't think it was safe enough, we would have already canned his offer.
そうそう。認識阻害とは違うけど、カヌスにはカヌス用の対策はしてあるし。
Indeed, although he doesn't employ sorcery, Canis has his way of dealing with things. Huh, really? What do you mean by
そ
that?
れは実際に目にしてからのお楽しみ。まあ、外に出ればわかるさ。
I'll leave that as a surprise for you. I'm sure you'll notice as soon as you leave. I see. This surprise just might cause me more confusion depending on what it is. For now, trusting what they had to say, I get ready to go out with Canis.
平気だとは思うけどよ。なんかあったらすぐに帰ってこい。スマ
So
ホとかちゃんと持ったか？
I think you'll be okay, but come back right away if anything happens. You have your phone, right? Yeah, I've got it.
う。イグニス、お前は時折、人間の母親のようなことを言うな。
Ignis, your words resemble those of a human mother.
これもまた一つの愛ですね。
It's just his own way of expressing love.
うっせ、ほっとけ。
Shut up. Get off my case. He's got Kyo energy. Everyone gets along so nicely.
ま、こっちのことは任せておいて。街の散策がてら、君たちはゆっくり 買い
We'll
出しして
hold
きな
down
よ
the fort, as it were. Enjoy your stroll around town while you take care of the groceries. All right. Okay, Canis, ready to go?
うん。
Yes. Wow, there's even a special shop for salt. We walk around, peeking into shops on our way. I'm sure any locals would be able to tell how new it all was to me if they saw my face. Around the train station, it was like a city the whole area felt like to me. That's what the whole area felt like to me. It was full of personality. It stood out, full of specialty foods and spice shops. There's so much to choose from here, and it's perfect for running a cafe.
うん。ソーアン殿もこの辺りは品揃えが良くて助かるとよく言っていたぞ。
Indeed, Soren often spoke of how greatly supplied this area was with different goods, and how much it helped his efforts. I'm tired, bro. Oh, now that I think about it, should I not introduce myself to the shops around here or mention the Enchante's reopening?
うん。特に必要ないのではないか。
I do not think it wise to
通
do
常の
so.
店とは異なり、アンシャンテは認知されることが目的の店ではない。
Unlike other shops, Enchante has never sought to receive great recognition.
むしろ我ら人外のひしめく場所へ不要に人を増やしても面倒の種になるだろう。
In fact, it may just plant seeds of discord by unnecessarily inviting people to a place inhabited by non-humans. Great point. I should take care to not go advertising around town like other people might be inclined to do. Anyway, we just need to collect enough supplies to whip up a few meals for everyone and maybe a little extra just in case.
それでいいはずだ。林道も毎日来店するわけではないしな。
Yes, that would be fine. Soren did not go to the market every day after all. I'm thankful Canis responded so quickly with such helpful advice. Still, it seems strange. Florist. Buy a TV. That there hasn't been any sort of trouble since Canis and I left Enchante. We've been walking around this area We've been walking around these areas that are fairly crowded. At the most, people who passed us would look curious at Canis for the time to time, but none of them stirred up any commotion. In fact,
あら、カブトさんお久しぶり。最近姿を見かけなかったから心配してたのよ。
oh my, it's been a while, Mr. Helmet. Was beginning to get worried that I hadn't seen you for a while.
しばらくぶりだな、奥方。しかし我は兜ではなくカヌスだ。
It has indeed been a while, ma'am. However, my name is not Helmet, it is Canis.
少々事情があり、ここを離れていた。そちらに変わりはないか。
Various circumstances have kept me away. Has anything interesting happened with you?
そうね、あえて言うなら、最近またゴミ収集所にカラスが集まるようになってきちゃって。
Well, if I were to say something, lately a bunch of crows have been gathering by the garbage bins
う
nearby.
ん、それはいかんな。わかった。また我が追い払っておこう。
That simply will not do. I see. I will chase them away at once.
まあいいの？ありがとうね、カブトさん。相変わらず頼りになるわ。
Oh my, really? Thank you, Mr. Helmet. You are as dependable as ever.
よ、カブトの兄ちゃん。なんだい、可愛い子連れちゃって。
Hey, it's Helmet Boy. Who's that? Your cute lady friend?
兜ではなくカヌスだがな。それから彼女はソーアン殿の孫娘にあたる女性だ。
My name is not Helmet, it's Canis, and this gentlewoman here is the granddaughter of Sauron.
ああ、そうかい。ソーアンさんの。確かによく見りゃ面影があるな。
I see. Sauron's granddaughter. Oh, I see it. She definitely has his face. Oh, it's nice to meet you. I'm Leah Owaki. You must have been great help to Grandpa.
いやいや、世話になったのはむしろ俺っちたちの方だ。
Oh, not at all. We're the ones he always helped out.
特にカブトの兄ちゃんとイグニスの兄ちゃんには 荷物運びとかをよく手伝ってもらってな。
Helmet boy Ingus would always lend a hand carrying our things for us. I see. Cool.
おやまあ、カブトさん。ちょっと見ない間にちっちゃくなって。
Oh my, Mr. Helmet, you've gotten so small since I've seen you.
カブトではなくカヌスという以前に、ご老体、そちらの女性は我ではないぞ。また視力が落ちたのか。
My name is not Helmet, it's Canis. However, sir, that is not me, that is a woman. Have your eyes gotten worse again?
はは冗談だよ。ジジジョークというやつじゃ。
Oh, I'm just teasing you, son. Just an old man's joke.
おじいさんたら。カブトさんは真面目なんだから。からかうのは良くないわ。
Oh dear. Mr. Helmet is always so serious. You know you shouldn't tease him.
そうそう。イルちゃんは元気？
How has Eel
よ
been?
かったらこのおはぎ、あの子に渡してあげてちょうだいな。
Please give that child some of these.
お菓子は食べられるかしら。
He's okay with Japanese sweets, right?
うん、確かに預かった。あれは甘味をよく好むゆえ、喜んで食すだろう。
I'll gladly take it to him on your behalf. He does enjoy anything sweet, so I'm certain he will eat this with glee.
あら嬉しい。あの子の神々しい笑顔を見てると、なんだかお迎えが来たような
Just
幸せな
splendid.
気分になるのよね。
Whenever I look at him, I feel so happy, like someone has finally come to take me.
イルの正体を考えるに、冗談に聞こえんのが恐ろしいな。
Is it a little concerning to consider it's not just a joke, considering what Eel is? I thought he would be a troublemaker, but it's exactly the opposite. Canis, are you popular among the townspeople?
うん。いや、そんなことはないぞ。我は普通に過ごしているだけだ。
No, of course not. I just tend to normal business around here. I'm not sure so many people would be approaching us normally. Just then, I received a message via social media. And it's from Monsieur? How's it going? I think the Demon King's cheat powers are taking effect soon. I'm sure it'll affect you when you head out in the near future, so I'll fill you in. Although it's actually fairly simple. There's a magic cast on the areas surrounding Enchante that just barely affects people's awareness, small enough so no one notices. It doesn't alter people's minds completely, though it does scramble perception a bit. As a result, Canis is accepted by everyone, making him less of a suspicious individual and more of an eccentric. Huh, I see. Though people aren't targeted specifically, I guess this means things can work out even using ill and Mysier's sketchy image magic. I type in a gratuitous response to Monsieur, then put my phone away.
誰かからの連絡か?
Did someone reach out to you? Yeah, Monsieur was illuminating me on a few things about you. Although it was still a mystery why everyone collectively referred to the man as Helmet, it seemed like everyone's impression of him is just a man wearing a helmet. So I was just worried before we left Canis. Now that I think about it, you've been with Grandpa for all these years. I really was worrying for
い
nothing.
や、気にすることはない。まだ交流も浅い我が相手では、緊張するのも仕方のないことだろう。
No, there's no need for that. It is fair of you to have been nervous considering our relationship is still new. Though that's not what I'm apologizing for. I'll give him a nervous smile back when...
あ、ガブリン、おひさ。
It's Helmety! It's been forever!
あの堅物かぶりんが女の子連れてる。
No way! Wholesome Helmety has a girl with
高校
him.
生じゃないね。でも、私たちとあんま年変わんない感じ？
Does she go to our school? Guess not, but she couldn't be that much older than us, right? Hello. 3 cute high school girls approach us. At this point, I'm just surprised at how many friendships Canis has made. With or without the helmet magic of Monsieur. Never mind that. I'm actually curious as to how he got to know these girls.
カブリンではなく、カブトでもない、カヌスだ。お前たち、学び屋はどうした？
My name is not Helmety or Helmet, it's Canis. What are all you doing out of school?
カブリンボケてる。今日土曜日だよ。普通にお休みで、うちらは部活の帰りなだけだし。
Helmety, you dummy, it's Saturday. It's our day off. We're just coming back from our club.
そうだったか。近頃慌ただしいせいか、すっかり曜日の感覚を忘れていた。
That's so. It has been so busy lately. I suppose I lost track of what day it was.
てか、カブリン彼女できたん？マジ意外なんですけど。
But like, you got a girlfriend, Helmety? Seriously? Who'd have thought that? What? At their gazes, all pointed to me. As this entire time. As their gazes all pointed to me, I let out a small yelp. Canis shakes his head side to side, not expecting such questions.
いや、違う。断じて違うぞ。
No, we most definitely are not. Understand? He's got like red. What? That's right. Well, how do I put it? I'm a friend of Canis. We're not in the type of relationship you all are thinking we're in.
なるん。友達から始めましょう的な？
Totally, just starting out as friends, right? No, that's not what I mean.
照れちゃってウケる。まあ彼女でも違くてもどっちでもいいよ。
She's so embarrassed. Who cares if they're together or
せっか
not?
くだし記念に写真撮ろう。八百屋のおじさん、スマホ渡すから撮って。
Let's take a picture for the occasion. Hey, Mr. Grocer, take a picture of us here. I'll use my phone.
はいよ。
You got it. The girls had called out to the kind vegetable grocer that greeted us earlier. As if used to this sort of thing, he agrees cheerfully and begins walking this
ほら
way.
ほら並んで。カブリンと
Come on, everyone, get in. Helmety and, oh, I'm Leah Waki.
オッケー、覚えた。じゃあまずは2人での撮影ね。ほら、
Okay,
カ
got
ブリン
it.
の横に立って。
Let's take one of you two first. Come on, get close to Helmety. Huh? Wait. Caught in the place of high school girls, I'm pushed closer to Canis for the photo.
すまないマスター。この娘たちは推しが強くてな。
My apologies, Leah. These girls are a bit assertive.
満足するまで付き合わんと、おそらく解放してくれないだろう。しばらく我慢してほしい。
I'm sure they would not let us go until they have their fill of us. Please try to endure it. I see. I guess this is just how they are.
カブリンでかいからこれ横幅に入りきんないじゃん。
Oh, Helmety, you're too big. You guys don't fit in the picture together.
てか、カブリンよそよそしい。もっと肩組んだりとか寄り添
You're too far away, Helmety. Put your arm around her and get closer. What?
え。はい、そんで指はこうね。2人ともちゃんとハートにしてよ。
Yeah, and you put your hands together like this. You gotta make a heart together with them. What in the world is this? This feels so embarrassing. Oh man, I can't even. How does that even work? How does that? I know I have like not the cute hands. Oh my god, this doesn't even make sense to me. I don't even know how these hands are. This feels so embarrassing. They eagerly pushed me closer, my body inching closer towards Canis.
こら、お前たち。我が頑丈だからと力任せに押すな。彼女に負担がかかるだろう。
She looks pretty tall in comparison, honestly. But that's also because I'm counting that his head's gone. Girls, no need to push us like this. This is a burden on her as well.
気にすんのそこなの？やっぱカブリン大物。
What? You're really concerned about that? Wow, you really are a gentleman.
じゃ撮るよ。笑って。カブリンも笑顔笑顔。
Okay, here we go. Smile. Come on, Helmety. Big smile. I smile as a reflex as she calls out to us. It does not look like you're having a reflexive smile. And afterwards, we continue our photo shoot with the high school
はい、
girls.
オッケー。今撮った写真送るね。
Okay, I'll send the pics we took to everyone. Okay, I got it. Thank you very much.
私たちも楽しかった。てか、年近いだろうし、敬語とかいらなくない？
That was fun. And come on, you're practically our age. No need to be so stiff.
連
Okay?
絡先も交換したし、今度どっか遊びに行こ
We have each other's contact information, so let's hang out sometime. Sure. I just realized this was the first time I made friends in this town with other girls. I was a little lost just going with the flow of things, but it made me really happy.
じゃ、バイバイ。カブリン、彼女泣かすなよ。
Okay, see you. Helmety, be nice to your girlfriend.
だから彼女では。
She's not my...
言ってしまったな。
They left. They're a pretty energetic bunch, huh? You're a typical group of young girls. Wait, speaking of young girls, do you think that picture will be okay? I hope they don't post it on social media or anything.
されぬことを祈ろう。が、イルは SNS にアップされる程度、何ら問題ないとは言っていたが。
Let us pray they do not, but Il did mention it would not be a problem if any images of me to be uploaded. Because of more magic stuff.
いや、今時兜をかぶって行動する程度では、閲覧数も動画再生数も伸びないからだそう。
No, because it seems like people wearing helmets in videos these days are unable to produce that many views. Oh, yeah, there's so many people out there uploading all sorts of videos these days. Canis quietly nods, looking in the direction the girls ran off, crossing his arms.
しかし、再会して改めて感じたが、最近の若者の強胆さはすごいな。
Still, seeing them made me feel once more just how assertive young people are these days. Is it that they're assertive, or is it just the fact that you're easy to get along with? I know their perceptions were altered, but it's wild Canis was so close to people. I was sure that the ones passing by calling out to Canis, I'm gonna say his name different every time, were doing it out of their own free will because of his character alone. I look over Canis once again. He does indeed look peculiar, but after getting to know him, you just know that he's a very polite individual. He goes out of his way to help people. I can understand why everyone likes him. Maybe we don't need Monsieur's magic after all, huh?
何の話だ？
What was that? Nothing. Come on, let's keep shopping, okay?
そうするとしよう。
Right. Let us do this. As we went, there was no end to the people who called out to Canis. We took our sweet time because we had to, but finished shopping and returned to Enchante. Yet another week later, I started to finally get a grasp on all the quirks of the regulars who lived in Enchante.
美味しかった。たまにはこういう外食もいいもんだ。ね、かわいいマスターさん。
Ah, that was good. It's nice to go out and eat sometimes. Wouldn't our cute shopkeeper agree? Yes. For some reason, I found myself eating out with Mr. Rindo near the train station. I'm currently feeling a little guilty for eating such an expensive dinner, but he was rather relentless in his offer. Now that I think about it, I haven't had many chances to talk to Mr. Rindo the way I have the other regulars. The dinner began awkwardly, I must admit, because I didn't know what to talk about.
それじゃ最後の仕上げといこうか。
Alright, Len, let's get our last round. Mr. Rindo seemed unfazed, however, as he opened the door to his car in the lot.
さあ、お手をどうぞ。心配しなくても取って食べたりはしないよ。
Here, give me your hand. Don't worry, I don't bite. I had no concern that you did. It's okay. I took his hand and got in the passenger seat. The reason I was even in this predicament can't be blamed on no one other than myself. It all began the morning the same day. What do I do? This to-do list isn't getting any smaller. Actually, does it seem like it's getting longer as I cross more things off of it? I was having a staring contest with all the notes, books, documents I had laid out on the table. Also, I still need to learn how to pour coffee before the week's over. Maybe if I cut back on some sleep, I'll be able to fit that in.
こんにちは、お邪魔するよ。
Morning, everyone.
おや、リンド。
Hello,
い
Rindo.
やいる。君がここでゲームしてるなんて珍しいね。
Hi, Eel. It's not every day that I see you playing games out here.
あれミシェルがこの時間にカウンターにいないのも珍しい。
And, strange that Monsieur isn't at the counter considering the time it is.
今日はカヌスやイグニスがまだ来ていませんので、文句も言われないのでここで過ごそうかと。
Canis and Ingus have yet to arrive. With no one to complain about it, I'm spending my time here.
ミシェルは、そういえばそうですね。
As for Monsieur, that's true. Where is he?
そっか。僕は騒がしい連中に絡まれずに済んでラッキーだけど、君たちがいないと静かだし。
I see. If I don't have to deal with those loudmouths, it's my lucky day. It can be nice and quiet when all of you are gone.
リンド、それは私も含まれているのですか？
Rindo, do I count as one of those people you speak of?
私はいつも静かにゲームをしていますし、あなたに対して興味を抱いたり、会話を望んだ覚えもないのですが。
I'm always playing games quietly and I have no recollection of being interested in you or having any desire to speak with you.
いるってさ、たまにとんでもなく人でなしなことを言うよね。
Feel it's inhuman how harsh you can be.
ええ、人ではありませんから。
Indeed, I'm not a human.
ああ、はいはい、そうでした。堕天使様でしたね。
Well, yeah, you're a fallen angel after all.
で、さっきから気になってたんだけど、僕らに無反応な彼女は生きてるの？
I couldn't help but notice, but is the tiny one over there who isn't reacting to any of this still alive?
あれ、おーい。聞こえてないのかな？
Hey, Mia, can you hear me? I see the shape of something right in front of me, waving their hand back and forth. Suddenly aware of the voice calling out to me and its owner, I stand up flustered. I'm sorry, Mr. Rindo. Welcome.
びっくりした。そんな勢いよく立ち上がらなくても。
Whoa, that was a surprise. I didn't mean for you to get up so quickly.
というか、毎回そうかしこまらなくてもいいよ。そろそろ僕の顔も見慣れたでしょ？
And you don't have to be so formal with me. You've known me long enough, haven't you? Oh no, I can't do that. You're the one of our guests, although we aren't officially reopened yet.
真面目で結構。けど僕はもう少しだけ砕けてくれたら嬉しいんだけどね。
Glad to hear you've been hard at work. I might be a little happier if you loosen up a little bit, though.
というか、質問していい？
Can I ask you something?
すごい量のメモやらノートやらがテーブルに並んでるけど、何をしてたの？
You've got a lot of notes spread out on the table. What are you working on? Huh? I'm reading up on coffee and looking over all the documents I need. As I tilted my head and answered him, Mr. Rindo deliberately furrowed his
じ
brow.
ゃあもう一つ質問。君、そこでゲームしてるイルの存在に気づいてた？
Okay, next question. Did you notice Eel playing games over there? Huh? I turn around to see Eel, who had a portable game console in hand. Eel? How long have you been there?
朝からずっといました。マスターにも声をかけましたよ。
I've been here all morning. I called out to you too, Leah. It seems Eel wasn't concerned about anything. Did that mean I ignored his greeting?
つまり、イルが来るずっと前からここで難しい顔してたわけだね。
That means you've been here with that troubled look on you before Eel came down.
君、ちょっと働きすぎなんじゃない？
Leah, do you think you might be working too much? No, that's not.
本当に？毎日ちゃんと寝てる？
Really, are you getting enough sleep? I am.
びっくりするぐらいに嘘が下手だね。
You're a bad liar. It's quite incredible. Sighing, Mr. Rindo sat down on a seat right in front of
あの
me.
ね、君がこの店のことを第一に考えて努力してるのはわかるけど。
Listen, Leah, this cafe is the most important thing on your mind right now, and you're working hard.
それで君が体調を崩したり、それこそ倒れたりしたら、誰も喜ばないと思うよ。
But if it starts affecting your health and something happens to you, nobody here wants that for you.
ソーアンさんも、僕も。あとは、
It's like
ま
a
あ彼
hair
らも
on
ね。
my face. Like right here, I keep feeling it. Not Sora, not me, and definitely none of the guests. Mr. Rindo glances to the side towards the room that contained the gate. As if on cue, the bell rang, signaling a guest arriving from another world.
あれ、うちのお姫様に悪い男が言い寄ってる。これは物理的に追い出すべきかな。
Oh, I see a bad man trying to woo our princess. Is it time to get rid of him, perhaps?
あいにく僕みたいな悪い男しか彼女と同じ価値観を持ってなくてね。
Unfortunately, this bad man's the only one here who shares her values. Their greetings are filled with sarcasm. Monsieur decides not to reply to Mr. Rindo's comment and walks towards us.
君がリンドウと二人きりじゃないか。対面で話してるなんて珍しいね。
You're here alone with Rindo. It's unusual to talk with him like this. Did something happen?
いや、何かっていうか、ねえミシェル、彼女って最近ちゃんと休んでる？
Well, you see, hey, Monsieur, do you know if that girl's been getting enough rest?
休むって？
Rest? Monsieur looked at Eel as if asking to ponder the question together with him. Understanding his signal, Eel put his finger to his chin and after a short silence,
睡眠時間でしたらわずかに確保しているようですよ。1日平均3時間ほどでしょうか。
if you mean her sleep schedule, it seems she reserves a little bit of time to sleep, perhaps 3 hours a day. What? Wait, how do you know that, Eel? The question I shouted aloud reflexively was unmovable proof of the situation. Mr. Rindo shrugs in an excessive gesture and looks at Monsieur with concern.
やっぱりか。魔王様、君がついていながらなんでこんなことになってるんだい？
I thought of much. Demon King, how could this have happened with you of all people by her side?
そっか。ごめん。これは完全にこっちの落ち度。
Sorry, that was totally my bad.
人間の体力の限界、すっかり忘れてたよ。ソアンも基本は気まぐれにくっちゃねしてる生活だったし。
Forgot about the human's body's limits. Sauron. He's Sauron now. Sauron. I can't do it. Suran? Just ate and slept and did whatever whenever he wanted all of the time. That was the problem in and of itself
と
too.
もかく、全然休んでないと分かった以上、このまま放ってはおけないね。
Well, now that I know you haven't been resting, I can't just leave you be.
今後の生活を改めて改善するとして、今日一日ぐらい羽を伸ばしたら。
It's a new season. You really should start practicing better self-care. Take a day off. But
俺もその方がいいと思うな。一日サボったくらいで、アンシャンテは潰れたりはしないよ。
I think that would be a wise decision. Enchante won't go under if you take off for one single
ちょ
day.
っと眠って頭すっきりさせた後、一度外でリフレッシュしておいで。
Go take a
リンドウ
nap.
と一緒にさ。
After that, you should go outside and enjoy some fresh air with Rindo, of course. What? Mr. Rindo's face looked just as surprised as I sounded. He was even pointing a finger at himself.
おや、意外だな。いいのかい、魔王様。僕なんかにお姫様を預けちゃって。
Oh, that's an odd suggestion. Is that what you want, Demon King, to give your princess to me for a day?
正直、めっちゃ不本意だけど、こういう時は同じ人間の方がいいと思うんだよね。
Honestly, I don't love the idea, but in times like these, I believe humans do better if they stick together. Oh, but I couldn't impose. You must be busy, right, Mr. Rindo?
いやいや、僕は大歓迎だよ。
Oh no, I'm happy to accompany you.
むしろ彼から直々に君とのデートの許可が下りるなんて、願ったり叶ったりだ。
Actually, it's a wish come true, getting direct approval of these men to be able to go out on a date with
なははは失言が多いと燃えかすにしちゃうぞ。
you. Watch it before I burn you alive. Monsieur quickly returned to the matter at hand.
新生活のスタートで気が張ってたのもあるだろうけど、ここは気軽に楽しんでおいで。
I know you've been focused on this beginning for your new lifestyle, but for now, go have fun, Leah.
万が一君に何かあったら、俺たちも悔やみきれないしさ。
If something were to happen to you, there'd be no end to our sorrow. There was a hint of worry in Monsieur's smile. It was usually so carefree. Okay, I hear you. I nod silently. Ooh. So that was how I came to take a break with Mr. Rindo to wherever he had taken me. We'd been driving for 30 minutes in his sports car with me not knowing where we were headed. While still focused on driving us safely, he began to speak to me.
いや、しかしなんというか、君がソアンさんに負けず劣らず、ジンガイズと仲良くなってて驚いたよ。
So I'm surprised you've been getting along with the non-humans, Leah, like Sauron. Huh? You think so?
うん。なんだかそういう血筋なんじゃないかなと疑っちゃうぐらいにはね。
So much so that it makes me think that it's in your blood somehow.
普通、もうちょっと大変というか、馴染むのすら難しいと思うけどね。
It'd be pretty crazy for a normal person. Just getting used to it is tough. Slowly turning the wheel right, he gives a solemn
ほ
smile.
ら、出かける直前だってみんな、君のことを気にかけてくれてたじゃないか。あの後来店したイグニスとカヌスも。
Know what I mean? Right before we left, they were so worried about you. Ingus and Canis came by just to see you off.
いいか、リンドウの野郎が何かしてきたら、迷わず目をつぶせ。目を。
Yo, Leah, if that dumbass Rindo tries anything, just kick him in the nuts.
そして、ひるんだ隙に喉をつくのだ。
Yes, while he's stunned, stab him in the throat. They care. Remembering their crass advice, my eyes looked to Mr. Rindo's throat. I scratched my cheek and smiled, trying to hide my stare. Yeah, that's true. I'm happy they care about me regardless of what that actually looks like. Although when it comes to Eel, I still can't understand what he's thinking at times.
ああ、彼は心配する側というよりされる側だしね。
He's always the one people worry over rather than the one doing the worrying.
ちなみにミシェルからも釘はバッチリ刺されてるよ。
Monsieur gave his warning too, right?
君に5秒以上触れたら塵にするってさ。ほんと、過保護で過激な魔王様だよ。
He said he'd turn me into garbage if I touched you for over 5 seconds. Leah, the Demon King is so overprotective. I'm sure Mr. Rindo had to take plenty of courage. I'm sure Mr. Rindo had to have plenty of courage to snap back at him in the way he did. It makes me happy that Mr. Rindo notices my relationship with everyone was beginning to change. We were becoming closer. Ever since I had arrived, it's been hectic day after day, but part of me really enjoys it. I could feel that Enchante was starting to become a sweet place, a belonging, the one I've dreamt about for so long. But this to say, that really means I have to hold on to this. I don't understand. That's to say, this really means I have to hold on to this? Is that... Nope, I don't know. I can't overwork myself.
で、結果としてリラックスはできた？食事以外にもいろいろ連れ回しちゃったけど、疲れてないかな？
I've taken you to a lot of places other than to dinner. Are you feeling tired? I'm doing okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Rindo. I feel like my fatigue is gone. More importantly, I feel at ease. I'm realizing how overworked I was.
ならよかった。それじゃあ帰ろう。と思ったけど、もうちょっとだけ僕に付き合ってくれる？
That's good. I was thinking that maybe it's time to head back, but do you mind staying out a little while longer? Of course I don't mind. With my consent, Mr. Rindo smiled happily.
せっかくだし、ドライブで締めを飾ろうか。首都高をぐるっと一周しよう。
Since we're out here, let's finish off our little drive with something nice. Let's drive around on the Shudo Expressway. Along with several other vehicles, the sports car we were driving in proceeded onto the highway in the cool of the night. The scenery of the city at night off in the distance was a spectacular show of lights.
よく考えたら、僕たちがこうしてゆっくり話すのは、これが初めてかもね。
Now that I think of it, this is the first time we've been able to sit down and chat like this. Thank God you don't drive like Mathis. I mean, we'd have so many problems. Oh yeah, now that you mention it.
まあ、出会いが出会いだったし、それも仕方ないんだけど、この際、君のことをいろいろと聞いても？
Well, considering how we met, I suppose that couldn't be helped. Now that I have a chance, can I ask a few things? Sure, I'll answer the best I can.
ありがとう。そうだな。それじゃあまず、趣味は？
Thanks. Let's see. So what kind of hobbies do you have? I like to sew, but I procrastinate a lot, so my projects usually don't get done really fast. I give myself 2 months to finish a project. Doesn't always work out. Sometimes I don't even finish them. I have a few uncompleted ones. I collect Monster High dolls. I don't know if I'd call that a hobby, but it is for me. I read manga and books, and I play Otome video games, but that's not the only video games I play. I also like slice of life games like Fae Farm. My favorite game franchise is Legend of Zelda. But I also love Kirby like so much. In fact, I just bought a chair today. I totally forgot to bring it in here because I have little Kirbys that I sit on my desk. So that's my favorite hobby. Thanks for asking. I really like to read and cook and listen to music by my favorite artists. Can't forget that. Oh, that's true. You're right. I listen to Slipknot, Corpse Husband, of Monster of Min, Maria Mina. I just saw Wednesday 13 in concert not too long ago. Melanie Martinez. You know, there's a lot there for music.
多趣味でいいね。それじゃあ好きな食べ物は？
Those are definitely good things. Do you have a favorite food? I mean, chicken is pretty much my favorite. If something has chicken in it, I'll usually be super happy. I like fried chicken. I like grilled chicken. I like chicken tacos. I like chicken burritos, chicken quesadillas. You know, chicken's great. In terms of like overall like type of food, I'm pretty partial to Mexican food. Like I eat that at least once a week. But I also like Asian foods. I'm not very picky on what section. I like rice. Honestly, that's probably part of it. That's why it's always between those two things. Also ramen. I eat ramen at least once a week. Instant ramen, but I don't make it like normal instant ramen. I add stuff to it. So thank you for asking, Rindo. Oh my gosh. You know what, Leah? You are so right. That would be cheesecake. I do love cheesecake. In fact, I hate cake unless it's cheesecake. I don't eat cake. And I've never enjoyed it since I was a kid. I used to hate birthday parties because I hate cake. I hate it. I never would finish my cake. I hate it. I've never liked it. So cheesecake was my favorite cake. I also like pie. For talking about desserts specifically. You know what? I went with Mills. That's my bad. I didn't think about desserts. Whenever I find a shop with good reviews, I sometimes just go buy a whole one. So they're usually cheaper than a slice. It makes sense.
ああ、わかるな。あれ甘すぎないから調子に乗って買いすぎちゃうんだよね。それじゃあ逆に嫌いなものは？
Who could blame you? I like that they aren't too sweet, but then I go and buy too much. Okay, so what things don't you like? I mean, it depends on how broad a term you go with here. I don't like sports that much. I will watch a sport, but like I don't really get too excited about sports. I don't like I don't know. I mean, I try to avoid the news, not because I don't like news. It's just that it's so depressing sometimes. And my sister will tell me if there's anything I really need to know. So I'm usually okay about that. I don't like hunting. I grew up in the country, and my middle name's Fawn, and it made it really hard for me to ever want to eat a deer. Like my mom did that to me. You know what I mean? So when they'd go hunting, I'd hate that. Also, I hate fish. I don't like fish. I don't like to eat fish. Traumatic childhood story there, but I'll share that later. We're too new to each other. What else don't I like? Oh, gosh, I don't like. I mean, if we're talking about video games, I don't play sports video games. I'll play a shooter game, but I'm not good at it. So usually I just don't like how people get upset with me, even though I warn them in advance I'm not good at them. We shouldn't play them because I suck at them. And then they want to play anyways because that's the games they like to play. But then I'm hurting their kill death ratios. I'm tanking their numbers, and then they stop wanting to play with me. Yeah. I also hate people who put their opinions as facts. Those are two different things. All right, your turn. I can't think of a food I won't eat. Other than foods, things I don't like, maybe bugs. I'm okay with bugs. I don't like cockroaches. I don't like cockroaches. I love spiders, which is weird, but my patio is covered in spiders. My friend actually has arachnophobia, and if she comes over, she has to run through my patio because she knows it's covered in spiders because we don't care about them. They work so hard. How could I hurt them? They're cellar spiders. They're not dangerous.
そこはソアンさんと同じか。
Well, that's just like Sauron.
あの人、例の黒いやつが出てくると、店ごと消し去れってミシェルたちに叫んでたな。
Whenever that guy would see roaches, he'd always scream at Monsieur to destroy them, even if the cafe got caught on fire. Well, if that happened, I wouldn't have been able to take over the cafe. I suppose it wouldn't exist in the first place, huh? I can relate to that feeling, though. Afterwards, we talked about my hometown, where I graduated, where I work, all of it. My hometown, it's a really tiny town in Oklahoma. Super tiny. So tiny. I think when I was living there, the population was like less than 5,000. So tiny. So tiny. And now I live in Arizona, in Phoenix, and the population's like well over 1 million. Where I graduate. I didn't graduate. I actually dropped out and got a GED. Where I work, I started with fast food, did some telemarketing, went to retail, left that retail for a different retail job. Pretty much have been at that retail job ever since. So, I wish I ran a cafe. That'd be fun. I answered Mr. Rindo's detailed questions as best I could.
なるほどね。
Interesting.
でも、実を言うとそのあたりのことは大体知ってるんだけどね。
Though to be honest, I already knew most of that. What do you mean? My voice yelped at Mr. Rindo's nonchalant way of saying something so outrageous.
GPM っていう僕の勤め先については前にも説明したよね。所属する課の方も。
Imagine going on a date with some guy and then after you share personal information about yourself, he's like, I already knew most of that though. I would like to be out of the car now. Thank you. You know about the GPM, right? Where I work and what department it reports to? Yes, it was the information department, right?
そう。その部署の業務はかっこいい言い方をするなら、いわゆる諜報活動ってやつでね。
That department's main role is to gather intelligence, or at least that's the interesting way of phrasing it.
人外およびその関係者にまつわる情報は調べ尽くしてたりするんだ。
We collect detailed information on non-humans and the people involved with them. Really? Oh, so that means you knew all my personal information. I shrunk a bit, and Mr. Rindo looked a bit nervous now, corrects himself.
ああ、いや、それを悪用したりはしないよ。今の意味深な言い方はなんていうか。
Imagine not realizing that might be the worst thing to say on a date. I hit the wrong button. Oh, no, I won't use anything bad, okay? The way I worded it just now was...
僕がそういう立場にいるというのを君にもちゃんと理解してほしかっただけなんだ。
It's just because I wanted you to be sure that you understood the position I'm in.
君とは対等な立場でいたいからね。下手にごまかすのはやめとこうと思って。
I don't know if me telling you my favorite food is cheesecake and you telling me that you already knew that because of your job is the same. I think if we're going to play 20 questions, which honestly is a great way to get to know somebody, and really the only kind of game I like to do one-on-one when getting to know somebody, you should be answering the same questions. Like if I say, like, what's your favorite book? And you go, oh, To Kill a Mockingbird. And I go, oh, cool. Mine's is Battle Royale. You know what I mean? Like, not, by the way, I work in an intelligence office and I already knew all that information because that's what we do. Sorry, I just wanted you to know. Like, no. You've shared a lot with me and I thought it best to be equal with you about it myself. Equal? Mr. Rindo nods.
同じ人間として。あと、君みたいな女の子と腹の探り合いとか正直したくないから。
As fellow human beings, and also honestly, I don't want to feel like I'm stepping on eggshells around you.
それと僕の場合、業務が特殊すぎて、大抵の人に愚痴をこぼせないんだよ。だから、気兼ねなく話せる相手が欲しいんだ。
Also, my work is so specialized that I can't vent about it to most people. I thought it would be nice to have someone to talk to.
もちろん逆もしかり。 君はある意味、僕と同じ、普通とは違う位置にいる人間だしね。
I figure you're in a similar predicament. Like myself, your position isn't exactly what others might deem as normal. You can always talk to me when you need to, or that's what he was trying to communicate.
やっぱり
But
僕
you'll
の
already
言
know,
うこ
right?
とは信じられない
If
か
I'm
な。
having a bad time, you'll just know.
初対面の時、
Because you're in intelligence and you already know my
結構彼ら
life.
を貶めちゃったしね。
It's hard to believe that what I'm saying, huh? I didn't seem like I have a nice opinion of those guys when we first met, after all. That's not true. You were doing your job, Mr. Rindo.
まあ、でもあの言葉は、ほぼ本音だけどね。アンシャンテの連中が厄介なのは、紛れもない事実だし。
Well, still, that's basically how I feel. And these guys at Enchante are honestly such a dangerous bunch to hang around. His cut and dry response makes him seem even more honest.
まあ、信じる信じないは君の判断だ。僕もそこを無理にとは言わない。
The decision to trust me is yours. Don't force yourself to do so either.
けど、僕や君の意思とは関係なく、周りが動いたりすることもあるから、同盟というか、保険をかけておきたい。
There are those who will be working around us regardless of our intentions. I'd like an alliance. Insurance, you might say. What do you... Probably guessing as to what I was thinking, Mr. Rindo smiled awkwardly.
この間の GPM の下っ端くんたちとね、いい例だよ。このご時世、人間側のいざこざも人外に負けないぐらい厄介だ。
Like those GPM subordinates in the past, that's a good example. Humans at this age can be just as troublesome as non-humans. He has a point. There may be times when I just won't be able to handle Monsieur and the others. I understand. I hope I can count on you if I need to. Since we have a moment, want to tell me a little more about yourself, Mr. Rindo?
もちろんいいとも。どんな質問にも答えるさ。
Of course, I'll answer anything you ask me. Alright then. His height and hobbies, what food he likes and doesn't like, even things he wasn't good at. We chatted while enjoying the scenery at night. I had one last question before we headed back. Alright, so about your family. Do you have any siblings, Mr. Rindo? Mr. Rindo?
あ、ごめんごめん。横にいた車が強引に車線変更してきたから。
Sorry, the car next to us was trying to get into our lane.
兄弟は、そうだね。妹が一人かな。
Siblings, yeah. I have a little sister. That's it. Oh, a sister. That's so nice. I'm an only child, so I always dreamed of that. Do you get along with your sister? You seem like you do.
どうかな。生意気な子だったけど、仲は良かったと思うよ。
Who knows? She's a bit of a cheeky kid, but I guess we get along well. Mr. Rindo's smile was soft and gentle. He must really care about his sister. But Mr. Rindo, you've been coming to Enchante every day, even on days off, when you're not on duty, right? Do you even make time for your sister to go back to your family? Dude, you just asked the worst questions, my guy.
僕も忙しいから時間が取れなくて。
I do want to visit, but I'm so busy it's hard to find the time.
でもそうだな。今度大きな休みが取れたら、久しぶりに顔を出しに行くよ。
You know, you're right. Next time I have a little time off, I'll head back and visit everyone. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Do it. As I agree with him, the car had finished getting off the Shudo highway and drove back down to the regular street. Later on, it was 10 p.m. After Mr. Rindo dropped me off, I took a bath and got ready for bed. It felt a little early, but this was truly a healthy bedtime. Wow, what a luxury to be able to sleep before the day changes. Wait, if I accept this as a luxury, my sleep schedule will keep getting messed up. I feel it'll take a little more time to get used to living like this. I am glad I was able to get to learn about Mr. Rindo, and it's always felt like he was so mysterious. He's a few years ahead of me too. A few. I'm sure there are a lot of ways I'll be able to look up to him for help. We're still in chapter 2. The application I submitted were accepted, granting all the certifications I needed. After updating the equipment in the cafe, I could begin preparing for the grand reopening. Why do you need to upgrade all the equipment? It was only a few months closed. Even if the place was just for non-humans without normal guests ever stopping by, but for Enchante to come into its own as a legitimate full-fledged cafe, there was an obstacle I had to overcome no matter what, and that was how to make coffee, I assume. Yes, and that obstacle is...
まずっ、なんだこれ。
Oh, this is awful. What the hell is this? Really? It's that bad?
お前自分で味見してから人に渡せよ。嫌がらせで泥水飲まされたのかと思ったぜ。
You should have tasted it before serving me. For a second there, I thought it was mud, like actual sludgy dirt water. I'd never do that to you. There it was, festering in the cup Ingus had just laid to rest on the table. The dark brown liquid remained cooling off in its ceramic vessel. The time was 3 in the afternoon. It was generally a time for people would have snacks and take a break from their routine. I really thought I made a decent coffee this time around. Now that I had gotten new equipment for the cafe, I'm getting feedback from the regulars as to the better understanding the art of the perfect cup of coffee, a staple item of the Enchante's menu. The results continue to be disappointing.
俺はコーヒーなんざそもそも飲まねえし、味も大して分かっちゃいねえが、それでもこれだけは言えるぜ。
I'm not a huge coffee guy and I don't have the best handle for how bean water should taste, but I can tell you this.
これは失格だろ。マジでまずい。
You failed. This is gross. You don't have to rub it in. Hanging my head, I kept fielding feedback from everyone who was gathered around. First, Canis.
我も味を批評できるほどコーヒーに詳しいわけではないが。
I also do not possess the greatest knowledge surrounding this esteemed beverage.
ソーアン殿が入れてくれたものとは違うというのは明確にわかるな。
However, it's quite clear that this differs from what Lord Sonen has often poured.
すまぬ。断じて比較するつもりはないのだが、基準があの味になってしまっていてな。
My apologies, I do not seek to compare your hand to his, but his brew has become my standard. No, don't worry, I really want to get everyone's honest opinion about it before having this tasting. Mr. Rindo.
なんて言えばいいんだろう。全部コーヒー風ではあるんだけど。
How should I put it? I mean, technically it's coffee.
コーヒーとは違うというか、味も匂いもぼやっとしてるね。
But at the same time, it isn't. The taste and scent really lack definition. I measured the temperatures and everything just like the manual said.
となるとやっぱり経験不足かな。初めは誰でもこんなものだと思うし、気にしすぎないようにね。
Maybe some more practice will help. Everyone has to start somewhere, you know? Try not to worry about it too much. Thanks. I'll get more acquainted with the process. And of course, Eel.
私もカヌス同様に正しいコーヒーに関しての定義を習得していないので、是非を判断するのは難しいのですが。
Like Canis, I am not sure what the ideal attributes of a good coffee are, so I cannot confidently offer a critique.
草案のものに比べるとやや酸味が強いように感じます。
But compared to Shonen's, the acidity of your beverage seems rather pronounced. It's too acidic? After hearing Eel's comments, I flipped through the manual littered with my notes. Common mistakes of beginning baristas: over grinding coffee beans can greatly alter flavor, depending on the brewing method.
それだな。お前気合い入れてすっげえガリゴリ削ってたし。
Well, there you go. You're so eager to brew the coffee, you must have grounded them down too much. I guess being a little too enthusiastic isn't always the best thing for you. Although most of them didn't say it explicitly, the overall consensus of my brew of coffee was that it wasn't great. I was aware that the path to the perfect cup was a long one, and I knew that I wasn't going to get it right from the beginning. All of a sudden, I'm starting to understand just how much goes into the cup of coffee I order from my favorite coffee shops. With the bitter taste of failure on my lips, I awaited the critique from the one final person. Monsieur's eyes closed, sips with elegance. I better brace myself for something harsh. Get ready for it. Monsieur?
ん？あ、ごめん。何の話だっけ？
Oh, sorry. What were you talking about? My legs buckle as his underwhelming response lingers. I want to know what he thinks. You were the most excited for this. We're taste testing the coffee.
ああ、ごめん。ちょっと考え事してて。
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I was having a thought to myself. About what?
ああ、魔界の様子についてね。派手にやらかす幹部を部下に持つと、魔王様も苦労しちゃってさ。
About the state of the demon world. A demon king is having a bit of a rough time with some troublesome leaders under him. I decided it was best not to pursue the matter further. Okay, well, let's get back to the point. What did you think of the coffee I made? How did it taste to you?
ああ、その話。普通に美味しいよ。
Oh, that? Yeah, it tastes fine. Why? Huh?
お前、いくらなんでも適当すぎんだろ。
You know you don't have to be so careless. Yeah, I'm asking for your opinion. You don't need to protect me. Just tell me what you think.
本当に美味しいと思ってるんだけ
What?
ど。
Honestly, it tastes good.
むしろ、もう一杯欲しいな。おかわりってもらえるの？
In fact, I'd like another cup. Can you make me another cup? Wait, really? It's that good? His unexpected affirmation of my brew caused me a healthy amount of confusion.
ミシェルは本当にコーヒーが好きだよね。ソアンさんの時も思ったけど、時間があればずっとコーヒー飲んでたし。
You really are a big coffee guy, huh, Monsieur? Monsieur? I don't even know. I thought you just did it with Shoen, but you really just drink it all the
ミ
time.
シェルの場合は度が過ぎているとたまに思うが。
I do believe Monsieur drinks a fair amount more than he really should. Really? He drinks that much? Right? He's always buying coffee when he's out. He brings it here to drink. I've seen him making coffee himself before too. Even though we've only just met, I've already associated Monsieur with coffee. As everyone talked about their own taste, Monsieur suddenly crosses his arms. He was looking at me for some reason.
そうだね。俺も結構長生きして、いろいろなものを口にしてきたけど、
Yeah, I've been alive for a long time. I've tasted a lot of different
そ
things.
の中でもコーヒーは世界で一番好きだから。
I think out of everything I've ever had, coffee is my favorite in the entire world. Really? Over bubble tea? I like coffee, but I treat myself to Thai iced tea, okay? But I think out of everything I've ever had, coffee's my favorite. When he spoke, his face, it looked so soft, so kind. Anyone could become enamored staring at a face like that. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum. I wasn't sure if Monsieur's critique was sparing my feelings or if it was a real opinion. But the truth shrouded in mystery, my training would continue. A short time after I left for more supplies. I think I got too many things. My hands got tired and I set the tote bag I had been carrying down near the curb. It held ingredients for everyone's meals. I had coffee too since I ran out of it after the taste test earlier. There was a lot. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to use so much even if I needed the extra practice. I would have brought another tote bag if I knew this would happen. Complaining won't get me anywhere, I thought. And I was preparing to keep going when...
なあ、いたいた。買い出しに行くなら俺に声かけてくれればよかったのに。
There you are, Leah. You should have told me you were going shopping. Huh, that voice. I was being called by a very familiar voice. I turned around smiling and saw him.
それとも、俺から誘うべきだったかな。
Or maybe I should have invited you. What?
誰とか言わないでね。魔王様、悲しみのあまり洪水とか起こしちゃうぞ。
Please don't pretend you don't know me. The Demon King would be so sad he might make a natural disaster like a flood, okay? The black robe, nowhere to be seen. He had no horns growing out of his head. He just had on regular clothes like any shop in town would sell. But that face and that calm voice were most definitely... Monsieur?
はいはい、ご名答。ミシェル・アレックス。お姫様のお供をすべく参上いたしました。
Yep, you got it, Monsieur Rex. I have arrived to escort you, my princess. His usual clothes. I think because they spared us seeing it early on, it makes it more nice. His elegant bow was a bit of an it's spelled the same way in my defense. His elegant bow was a bit of an exaggeration. Satisfied with the surprised look on my face, he lifted his head and... He laughs just like a child who's executed a prank perfectly. Remember, he called us a pervert when we said we wanted to see if he had normal clothes. It seemed that Monsieur came to get me while I was on my way back from my shopping. He lifts up my tote bag with ease. It was heavy. He walks with me, humming to himself. My eyes are drawn to the side of his face. It's not a dream. This is really happening.
そんなに見つめても、ぴょこっと角は生えてこないよ。
You won't see any horns grow back no matter how much you stare, got it? That's not what I'm doing. Monsieur, why do you look like this?
見ての通り、人間に擬態してるだけだけど。
I've camouflaged myself as a human, as you can see. You can do that.
そりゃまあ、チートが売りの魔王様ですので。
Of course, I'm a demon king and an expert in the art of deception. Couldn't you have gone out like this all this time without casting that magic from before?
今日は気まぐれで着替えただけ。やっぱり慣れてるあっちの方が体も軽いしね。
I just felt like changing my outfit today, though my body feels much lighter with those clothes I'm normally used to. In my opinion, the Demon King's clothes seem much, much heavier though. And also the change in his nails and oh, that's right, he doesn't have his fingies. I wasn't even noticing that. I was too enamored by everything else, and his ears aren't pointed. The change in his nails and horns seemed to be from magic, but his clothes look real. In fact, it seems like they were things that Grandpa might have bought for him in the past.
でも、懐かしいな。ソーアンともこの姿で一緒に買い物してたっけ？
It's really been a while. I remember going out shopping in this form with Soan too. You went with Grandpa?
うん。とは言っても、ほとんどが自由気ままに回る散歩みたいなものだったけど。
Although it was mostly just us walking about wherever the wind would take us.
具体的には、コーヒー専門店とか、知り合いが働いてる店とか。
Or to be specific, to coffee shops and other places where people we knew worked. It all comes back to coffee again, huh? Monsieur really loves coffee. As for the people you went to see, were they acquaintances of Grandpa's?
いや、どっちかっていうと俺側かな。駅とか商店街にいる人外の様子をたまに見に行ってたんだよ。
No, actually, they were people that I knew. I go around by the station or the shopping district and visit other non-humans. Huh. Wait, did I hear you casually use non-humans in a sentence?
君は毎回いいリアクションしてくれるから見てて飽きないな。
Your reactions are pricelessly. I never tire of seeing them.
とはいえ俺たちだってこの街にうまく溶け込んでるし、そこまで驚くことじゃなくない？
That said, those of us you already know have blended in with the town just fine. You shouldn't be that surprised. Well, yeah, but I thought it was special in your case because of the gate in Enchante.
ああ、そこの認識が違うのか。一応ゲート以外にも異界同士で行き来する方法はあるんだよ。
Oh, there are still things to learn. There's other ways to travel between this world and the others aside from gates.
それで人間界に来ちゃったり、帰化した人外がそのあたりにちらほらいたりするんだ。
Dozens of non-human exist around here, coming to this human world to be a part of it using these other methods of travel. This is the first time I've heard of this. What other ways are there?
ややこしい事情があるし、説明すると長くなりそうなんだよね。このあたりの説明はおいおいってことで。
There's a lot of details surrounding them, and it would take a while to explain. We should table the discussion for later. Right. I think it's worth talking about now.
まあいいじゃない。せっかく新鮮なシチュエーションで君と歩いてるんだし。
Hey, it's nothing to worry about. Come on, just take a minute to enjoy this new scenery I'm providing you with.
難しい話は後回しにして、のんびり喋りながら帰ろうよ。
We can talk about the boring stuff later. We can have a nice and easy chat for now. He's right. All things considered, it's probably not a good idea to be talking about it
ところで
outside.
どう？俺の私服。
Hey,
似合う？
what do you think of my clothes? Oh yeah, they suit you nicely. I'm pretty surprised. He stood out in more ways than one. It seemed that Monsieur hadn't noticed the fact that he was getting looks from other women around us.
本当？よかった。やっぱり普通の人間にお墨付きもらえると安心するね。
Oh really? I'm so glad. It pleases me to receive the seal of approval from a regular human being.
うちのメンツってセンスが微妙だったり、服に対する価値観がずれてるから、感想をもらっても当てにならないからさ。
The others don't have a good sense of fashion. They don't appreciate a good outfit's value, and their opinions are never very helpful. According to Monsieur, clothes are the problem in particular for non-humans here. If they aren't careful about keeping up with the current fashion, they risk standing out even more than they already do. So he says he does it to be safe. Huh. I can see how living for so long could be a bit of a nuisance at times.
おっと、年寄り扱いはやめてほしいな。俺はまだまだ現役ですよ。
Hey, don't treat me like an old man. I'm still very much in my prime, okay? Saying things like that makes you an old man.
ほうほう。君も言うようになったじゃない。なら年寄りらしく、君をお子様扱いしちゃおうかな。
Oh, alright. You're a sassy one, huh? Maybe I should just treat you like a kid the way some of my age should. Huh?
おんぶと肩車、どっちがお好み？
Do you want a piggyback ride, little one? His eyes were serious. I take it back. The Master Demon King is very young.
わかればよろしい。よしよし、いい子いい子。
Yes, so long as you understand, that's a good girl. He patted my head with his open hand as if to tease me. Stop it, I'm not a little kid. We walked leisurely up the road to Enchante, teasing each other the whole way back. We got back to Enchante right as the sun was setting. The atmosphere inside had changed completely. Silence replaced the energy from earlier. Canis and Ingus mentioned they had things to attend to and returned to their worlds. Mr. Rindo went back to work at the GPM. He said he got a call after the tasting and had to work late. Il is probably playing Atomi games, like usual, in his room. It was just Monsieur and I in this lonely cafe.
そうそう。豆をひくときは入れる直前に必要な量だけ。
That's right. When you're grinding, make sure you only grind as much as you plan on using.
手動のコーヒーミルを使う場合は一定の間隔を保って。
Hi,
無理に力を入れる
Sleazy.
必要はないよ。
Good evening. When you're using a hand mill, grind at a regular pace. You don't have to put any extra muscle into it. Okay. Monsieur was next to me, guiding me on each and every step. I grind the coffee beans. We went out to buy this evening, making sure I get the right taste out of them. I muttered to myself how abysmal the results were from earlier today and that I should practice one more time today. Monsieur returned to his normal form, deciding to guide me through it. Once again, I began to practice with Ignis seemed to really dislike earlier hot coffee. After grinding down the last of the beans, Monsieur took the coffee mill and looked inside. He nodded in approval.
均等に砕けてていい感じだね。じゃあ次はさっき言った通り、そこの茶こしを使って。
Looks evenly grounded, very nice. Like I said earlier, we use a strainer next. It's right over there. Right. Relieved, I squint at the strainer I held. It made an incredibly fine grind. With this, we would get a more defined and pleasant flavor from the coffee grinder. Did you pick up a star from Mario Kart? Ah, you're very colorful. Reminds me of the rainbow mode. No, that'd be funny though. This is just my rainbow cardigan. It goes with my rainbow dress. It matches so well with black. Although this would be a great thing to wear if I did a Mario Kart stream. I'd have to have friends though to do that. And they'd all have to have Mario Kart. But they do that sometimes. I've seen it. Just not me. With this, we would get a more defined and pleasant flavor from the coffee. Allegedly. In any case, first I have to try to be able to produce a normal cup of coffee. Don't try to make something ornate. Just get the basics down first. Monsieur's words from earlier echoed through my head and I followed them diligently. I set the paper filter on top of the carafe. I pour in the coffee, spreading it evenly. Alright. Paper filter. A filter made of paper. Amazing. Used to brewing coffee when made out of cloth. It is instead called a Neal. Refers to the container that collects coffee brewed from a dripping. I take the kettle of hot water and pour it in a spiral from the center to the edge. A type of pot. Its very narrow spout is a characteristic allowing for a minute adjustment in pouring hot water.
そこで一度ストップ。20秒から30秒ぐらい蒸らして、全体にお湯が行き渡るのを待って。
And stop for a moment. Let it sit for about 20 to 30 seconds and wait until the water seeps through all of it. Okay. The grains are starting to bloom.
よし。じゃあ追加のお湯を注ごうか。中心から今の粉の高さをなるべくキープしつつ、ゆっくり優しくね。
Great. Now let's pour in some more water. Be slow and gentle, pouring in the center and keeping the height of the grinds the same. Once I use all the hot water that I had measured out, now then I move the dripper out of the way. A device for coffee brewing. Coffee is brewed by setting a filter and beans inside, then pouring hot water in. From the carafe that was shaped like a lid. Wow. Steam rose gently with a full body scent. Did we do it? Did we make coffee? I hurry to pour the coffee into a cup before the lovely vapors disappear and place it in front of Monsieur, now seated. Squinting his eyes, he looks down at the freshly poured coffee. He slowly brings it to his mouth. As I saw him take a gulp, I swallowed my own breath as my nerves began to take over. After slowly tasting the coffee flavor,
すごいね。
wow,
驚いた。
I'm surprised. He answered the bare minimum as he took the cup away from his mouth. How am I supposed to interpret that?
食いつきがすごいな。もちろん、美味しいって意味でだよ。
Wow, you're worried about this, huh? Of course, I mean that it's good. Monsieur answered me laughing as I postured my body forward, interrogating him.
いや、本当に美味しいよ。苦味も想像した通りの強さになってる。
I'm serious, it's really good. The bitterness is subtle, and as I'd
これ
imagined.
ならイグニスたちも前向きな評価をくれるんじゃない？
I'm sure Ignis and the others would give you positive feedback with this, right? With that, Monsieur brings the cup to his mouth once more. I put my hand to my chest in relief. Monsieur's face as he drinks his cup. This cup was much more relaxed than the one he wore during practice earlier. I really improved. Of course, I still have much more to train myself with and learn. But now I'll let myself enjoy the fact that Monsieur is happy drinking coffee that I made. After finishing a second cup, Monsieur lets out a very satisfied sigh.
上手にできてるよ。君はしっかり教われば成長が早いタイプなのかも。
That was really excellent. Do you consider yourself to be a quick study under the right instructions, Leah? I had a good teacher. It was excellent simply because I had a good teacher. Of course, that teacher was Monsieur. I tried to learn how to brew coffee on my own, but when it comes to the basics of pouring a cup, I make mistakes and forget things, likely because I begin to feel so panicked. I guess it's important now, no matter what you're working on, to have a little guidance from someone. I should have had you teach me from the very beginning.
それはどうだろう。何事も失敗の積み重ねで上達していくものなんだから。
Perhaps, though I believe that failure is the greatest teacher.
でも、先生か。いいね。頼られてるって感じがするし、その響き悪くないかも。
But you think I'm a good teacher too, huh? That's pretty nice. Makes me sound important. Yeah, not bad at all. Now I'm embarrassed for calling you that.
美味しいコーヒーをありがとう。
Thank you for the amazing coffee, Leah.
お礼に俺からもコーヒーを入れてあげるよ。せっかくだし、サイフォンも使ってみせようか。
As thanks, let me pour you a cup. We have everything set here. Let me try and use the siphon. Huh? Really? Okay, that sounds good to me. I nod to his wonderful suggestion and sit, switching places with Monsieur. Monsieur, now behind the counter, looks over the coffee beans we brought and scrutinizes them.
さて、今回は他ならぬ君がお客さんなわけだし、
Alright, this time you are the
ちょっと
guest.
ずるいけど、張り切って入れちゃおうかな。
A bit unfair, but I'm doing this my way. Huh? With a snap of his fingers. The coffee beans began to float and dance in midair. Each bean was breaking apart on its own, beginning to release a deep aroma. The cups that were put away and jars full of sugar cubes began to dance into the air. What?
よいしょっと。これやるの久しぶりだからな。うっかり落とさないようにしないと。
There we go. It's been a while since I've done this. The trick is not to drop anything. Monsieur flicks the points of his fingers in all sorts of directions, as if performing a synchronized dance. The water, now hot again, somehow emerges from the carafe and pours itself into the flask attached to the siphon.
ああ、聞き忘れてた。ブレンドコーヒーなら君はどんな味が好み？
I forgot to ask, Leah, do you have a preferred blend? Coffee made by mixing coffee beans from multiple regions. The combination and amount of each can lead to enjoying of various flavors. Many cafes sell their own original blend. I don't have any preference in particular, just something that isn't too acidic.
OK。それじゃあ、コロンビアを多めにしておこうか。
Okay, then let me put in more Colombian then. The name of a country in South America can also refer to a variety of coffee beans grown in that country. It has a well-balanced supply taste to it. Responding to my request, some freshly ground coffee grinds separate themselves and are lowered into a measuring bowl on their own. While that was happening, various other tasks necessary for pouring a cup of coffee were conducted all around him in midair.
はい、お待たせしました。君専用の魔王様スペシャルブレンドです。暑いから気をつけてね。
There. Sorry for the wait. This is the Demon King special blend. Be careful, okay? It's hot. As I sat there astonished, Monsieur's face closed in on me. Coming back to my senses, my hands held a cup that had appeared and was filled with a cavitating, shimmering black coffee.
あれ、もしかして好みの香りじゃなかった？
Is the aroma a little too much? No, I was just surprised. I didn't know you could use your powers as something like making coffee. With my surprise, I failed to watch any of the steps, like how to use the siphon.
何回も言ってるでしょ。何でもありのチート魔王だって。
I said it a dozen times, but I'm a demon king who can cheat at anything.
とはいえ、コーヒーに関しては結構こだわりがあるし、これだけはそれなりに練習したけどね。
I keep trying not to yawn. Oh god. That said, there's a lot to be particular about when it comes to making coffee. I did have to practice to get it all down. Wow, so there's even things that even you have to practice, huh?
まあね。俺ってばチートはチートだけど、別に全知全能じゃないからさ。
I guess. I can cut corners in a matter of speaking, but it doesn't exactly make me all powerful.
結局はできることしかできないし、知らないことは知らないわけさ。
In the end, I can only do what I can do, and what I don't know, I just don't know.
コーヒーの入れ方だって、ソーアンから教えてもらっただけだし、こんな器具やら何やら知りもしなかったし。
When it comes to coffee, all I did was learn from Sauron. I didn't know a thing about equipment or brewing methods or the
そ
like.
れに、ほら、俺って大雑把だから、こういう細かい動き、実は苦手でさ。
And well, I'm carefree about the things I do. I'm not the best person with details.
高級なカップを派手に割って、草案に雷を落とされたことも、一度や二度じゃないよ。
I've obliterated expensive cups on more than one occasion, invoking the wrath of Sauron. Do you know that? Knowing Grandpa, he would have given you a few lectures in a row and not think twice about it. In fact, was there really any human or non-human who could go toe-to-toe with a man who lived like him?
けど、その経験があるからこそ、君に入れる機会が訪れたわけだし、叱られながら練習した甲斐もあったよ。
Still, it's because of those experiences that I'm able to pour a cup of coffee for you now. It was worth the yelling I had to endure. I'm glad then.
コーヒーってさ、自分で入れて飲むのもいいんだけど、誰かに入れてもらった方が美味しいんだよね。
You know, anyone can brew a cup of coffee for themselves, but it tastes better when someone brews it for you.
その気持ちを君に送ることができてよかったよ。
I'm glad to be able to share that experience with you. Oh.
そうだ。いいか？覚えとけ。
That's right. Now listen carefully, Leah.
コーヒーは自分で飲むのもいいが、自分で入れるより誰かに入れてもらう方がうまいんだ
Anyone
よ。
can brew a cup of coffee for themselves, but it tastes better when someone brews it for you. Grandpa used to say the same thing. I taste the coffee Monsieur poured for me. I took a bigger sip. There was a gentle bitter flavor that spread as I tasted the coffee, and after its warmth embraced me, I finished my cup. Yeah, I think I get it. The coffee you made me is really good.
そっか。お気に召していただき何より。
I see. I'm glad it suits your taste. Slowly continuing to drink the coffee that was poured for me, I look over at Monsieur, who continues to use his magic as he begins to clean up. Hey, ever since we met for the first time, you've been so nice to me. Why is that? I'm doing flashbacks. It's because we met before when I was little, isn't it?
そうだな。
Ah, my eyeball. It itches. I suppose so.
自分でもよく分かってないけど、多分そうなのかな。いわば親愛の情ってやつ？
Oh, then we can't date, weirdo. You can't say things like that. I don't really understand it myself, but yeah, I guess that's it. Maybe it's something like a paternal love.
君が困っていたら助けてあげたい。悲しそうなら笑顔にしてあげたい。脅威があれば守ってあげたい。
If you're ever worried, I want to help you. If you're sad, I want to make you smile. If you're in danger, I'll protect you.
そうだな。俺はあの頃からずっとそう思い続けてるよ。
Yeah, that's what I've felt since then. It's unfortunate I don't remember. I'm certain I would have spent a lot of time with you if you'd been around.
いいんだよ。俺にはこれでも十分すぎるくらいだ。
That's fine. Even this right now is enough for me.
ああ。でもそっか。
But I guess that's true.
いざ振り返ってみると俺たち感動の再会の割にはろくな挨拶してないね。
I just realized that I haven't given you a proper greeting since this is a reunion. Should we try that again right here? With that, Monsieur exits the counter, narrowing the gap between us and speaks.
ここは幻想の狭間。古き絆と新たな出会いが交錯する場所。
This is the realm of fantasy where old bonds and new encounters mix
はじ
together.
めまして。素敵なお嬢さん。あなたにお会いできて嬉しいです。
It is a pleasure to meet you, my lady. I am so very enchanted I was able to do so. I'm so very enchanted I was able to do so. That was Enchante, the namesake of the cafe, a word expressing the joy of meeting someone. Enchante, the original word for the name Enchante in French, it roughly means hello, pleased to meet you. I could feel the way he did in my heart. My response was simple but true. Yes, me too. That was a boring response. What are you talking about? Chapter 3. Buenos chess muy. I don't speak French. A few months have passed since I moved here. All of those documents, all the certifications needed, dealing with upgrading all of the equipment. The aroma of coffee floated in the air of the cafe, signaling the arrival of a new owner. The intermediable training I went through just to be able to pour a cup of coffee. What? This situation, not knowing left from right, here with such an eccentric bunch of guests, after overcoming so many challenges. Finally! It's finally the day. Cafe Enchante is back in business. I assume. It sounds like we leveled up in a video game just now. Oh, she's got a new top. Aren't you all excited? I changed into a new uniform and made so many preparations too.
いや、そう言わ
In
れても
fact, that's what she wears in the
そりゃ
cover.
めでてえはめでてえが、正式オープンつってもよ。
Even if you say that, I mean it is something to celebrate, but to say that it's back in business?
何度も繰り返しているように、ここは人払いを施しているので、新規顧客が来るとしても非常に稀なこと。
We have mentioned it many times before, but measures are in place to ward people away. A new customer would be highly unlikely.
だからなんというか、俺たちからすれば環境的に変わったことはないんだよね。
So to us, it's not like anything here really has changed.
一緒に喜んであげたいけど、僕もいい年だから、どうしてもそんな考えになっちゃってね。
I'd like to celebrate with you, but considering my age, this is how I see things too. Really? I know I was looking forward to it, but I imagined everyone would be excited when the day came. This was shocking. I decided to tuck away the party poppers I was keeping in my pocket before anyone happened to notice. Someone did happen to voice some support for me though after my horrible flop.
ともあれ、イグニスも言っていたが、めでたいことに変わりはないのだ。
However, as Ignis declared, this is still an occasion worthy of
ここは
celebration.
何かしら祝い事をすべきではないか。
Perhaps it would not be a bad idea to commemorate the occasion
う
somehow.
ん、それじゃあ、オーソドックスにパーティーでもするかい？
Well, then I think a little party would do the trick, wouldn't it?
リンド、それはあなたが不在の間に近しいことをすでに行っています。
The last 3 Atomi games I've played have had the characters' mouths move, and it was earth-shattering when it first happened, but now I'm so used to it that I'm like, man, it feels like they're not even real, because their mouths aren't moving. Rindo, we had already held one. You sadly were not present.
え、そうなんだ。しかも初耳で地味にショック。
What? I see, this is the first I'm hearing of it. Ouch. Well, you know, that party, it was right before the GPM attacked. The strangest tea party. That really was something, wasn't it?
パーティーでもいいけど、変わり映えしない内容はね。
We could throw a party, but it's not like much would change.
まあ、会場の雰囲気ぐらいならいくらでも変えられるけどさ。
Although I suppose we could mix up the scenery a little bit at the very least.
今度はどのような装いにしましょう。溶岩地帯や断崖絶壁あたりがマスターにとっては新鮮でしょうか。
What shall we create for our surroundings? A lava landscape or some majestic cliffs would be refreshing for Leah, wouldn't it? Ew, those aren't so much refreshing to me as they are places I'd never like to come near. Okay?
つがなんでそんな極端な場所をチョイスすんだてめえは。
Why would you ever choose such an insane place like that, you dumbass?
僕がディナーにエスコートはおまけがいっぱいいるから無理か。
I could accompany her to dinner. Oh, not with these hooligans around, though. No, you don't need to. I'm not suggesting that everyone has to celebrate with me. I just thought it'd be a little sad to open the cafe and not acknowledge it. It might be true that to everyone else, their normal lives have simply returned to them. But to me, this is a brand new start. It was my first big step towards my new life, so at least it would make me happy if we could all have a proper tea party to celebrate. My eyes scan their faces, watching for their thoughts to appear.
あなたは少々ささやかすぎる嫌いがあるな。
You have a tendency to be a little too modest at times. Huh?
カヌスの言う通りかもね。おじさんたちの都合なんて気にしないで、もっと君自身の主張をぶつけていいのに。
Candace is exactly right. Don't worry about our schedules. Just say what you want. It's not so hard.
今日は大事な日なんだ。祝え常連どもってね。
This is a big day. Celebrate, fools. You know, something like that. Candace and Mr. Rindo look at each other.
でもまあ、そうだよね。俺たちが祝わなくて誰が祝うんだって話だし。
Who would celebrate this if not us? I could go ask those high school girls I met the other day. It sounds weird when I say it out loud, but I could do it.
お茶会やろうか。今度は正真正銘アンシャンテの再会を祝してさ。
Let's have a tea party, this time an official celebration of the reopening of Enchante. With Monsieur's smile, everyone else begins to comment surprisingly about the tea party, supportively about the tea party.
俺は別に元から反対してたわけじゃねえし、お前がやりてえならいいんじゃねえの？
Well, you know, I was never against the idea of having a party, okay? We can do it if you all really want.
私も皆の意見に賛成です。これまでの経緯を考えるに、彼女を祝うのは自然な流れかと。
I agree with everyone as well. Considering all that has happened, it is only natural we celebrate. Thank you. All right, I'll get everything ready. What sort of food does everyone want?
はい、ストップ。なんとなくそう来るとは思ったけどさ。
Okay, stop. Of course you'd start doing that. Huh?
今回も俺たちが準備するからさ。君はゆっくり休んでなよ。開店の一番の功労者なんだし。
We'll do all the preparations this time too. You sit back and relax, Leah. You've been working so hard at this already. It's my first literal day on the job. It's my job.
そうそう。それに、君は普段からここのメンツの食事やら何やら面倒見てるんだからさ。
On top of that, you've been helping these guys out with meals and other things all this time, Leah.
ここは我々に日頃の恩を返させてはくれまいか。
Please allow us to return the debt from your caring for us day after day. Really? We established someone don't even eat anyways. Everyone actually wanted to help me. I don't feel like I've done enough for them to owe me any kind of debt. But it really does bring joy to my heart that they would be so thoughtful. I'll take you up on that offer. Thank you very much. Except we just opened, so we're working now. After mentioning to come ask me if there was anything they didn't know, I took their advice and went to relax quietly in my room. I can't relax. Thinking back, whenever I had any free time, I was either cooking or studying to prep to reopen the business. Now that I didn't need to do that, I was totally bored. How is it that I have more free time now that we've officially reopened? I couldn't help but question the issue. Ugh. They won't mind if I were to come down just to see how things were going, right? In the end, the fact that I was bored still remained. I decided the best way was to go see how they were all doing. I was also just curious to see what kind of work they were all getting done. As for Canis, he mentioned he was in charge of making the meals today. He did make a note of being clumsy before, but I wonder how he is at cooking. Hello! I entered the kitchen slowly so that I don't startle him. There in the kitchen, which had become my training ground lately, I saw Canis carefully trying to use a knife which was wobbling unsteadily in his hands. I'm sure Ingus, who I couldn't see, was out in the storehouse trying to find more ingredients. Noticing my arrival, he turns towards me after carefully putting down the knife. It's you. Do you need something? No, nothing in particular. I was just wondering how the cooking was going. I looked at the ingredients they had laid out on the cutting board: a fresh tomato, a large cut of bacon, and eggs cut into small pieces. Some bread was off to the side with the crust cut off of it, so he happened to be making... Canis, you're making sandwiches? Yes, Inga suggested I would be able to prepare some. Please pay no mind to how they look, as they are a bit misshapen. They're on the larger side, but that makes them appealing in their own way. But actually, this isn't good. Just looking at this makes me want to... Hey Canis, is it okay if I help you out with this too? I couldn't help but want to make something after seeing all of this here. I mean, I just enjoy cooking. Yes, but however... Canis attempted to refuse my help at first, but... There's nothing to celebrate in denying what your heart desires. Can I ask you for your help in cutting some of the smaller vegetables? Yeah, sure thing. I'll wash my hands first. He's like, wash your hands? What are you talking about? Canis and I make quick work of the vegetables as we stand together. There was no major mistakes, and even though he said he was clumsy, I felt that Canis was actually fairly talented at cooking. As I was watching this new side of him in admiration, it looked as if Canis picked up on some of the scraps from the vegetable he was cut. Oh, and somehow made them disappear into his face. I felt like it was experienced deja vu. I'm very sorry. I suppose you saw that. I didn't want to go to waste, and... He must have been embarrassed after I caught him taking bites while he was cooking. The flames coming from his neck was red. But what I was more curious about was... I wonder what happens to the food. It was even more fascinating this time since he didn't have his helmet on like before. Will he eat something else? Hoping he would, I continued to stare at him. Would you like some too, Leah? Huh? He misinterpreted my staring. Before I could mention he was mistaken, he hands me a piece of bacon that he had cut. Does he expect me to eat it just like this? I mean, my hands are full. Oh, maybe just a bite then? Thinking about it would just make the whole thing even more embarrassing, so I decided that I just opened my mouth. The very moment I had bacon in my mouth. Hey, why the hell are you playing around? We could hear Ingus's exasperated voice as he side-eyed us walking through the kitchen. Canis and I quickly separated ourselves and went back to working in a fluster. Ingus, who said he'd prepare his favorites, the meats, focused intently on the fry pan in his hand. Canis and I entered the final steps of putting the ingredients into the bread and cutting the sandwiches. After sandwich was completed, Canis suddenly began to speak.
少し
You
読ん
have
だ
a
のか
moment? What is it?
アンシャンテの再オープンについて皆以前と大差ないと話していたが
It's about Enchanté's reopening. Everyone said it wouldn't change
きっ
much.
と本心ではアンシャンテが続くことをとても喜んでいるはずだ
But I'm sure deep
我
down,
もだが
everyone is happy Enchanté will continue to be here. Of course, I know that I am at least.
その望みを叶えてくれた礼をこたびの茶会で少しでも新たに返せればと思う
With this party, I do hope to repay the favor of you granting our wishes, even if only a little bit. I could feel a boundless sincerity within each and every word he spoke. I'd also like to thank all of you. I was only able to take on this amazing cafe because of meeting everyone here. I met his sincerity with complete honesty, leaving no room for doubt about my feelings. A few hours later, the preparations for the tea party went along smoothly, thanks to everyone's efforts.
あとは会場のセッティングっと。
All that's left is to decorate for the tea party. Monsieur snaps his fingers and Il puts his hands together as if he's praying. The inside of the cafe turned back into the same whimsical setting as the last party.
なんだ、結局はこれかよ。お前らも芸がねえな。
What? This again? This is pretty uninspired.
失礼だな。こんなに綺麗な空間、邪悪な魔王様的には力作なんだよ。
How rude. A beautiful place like this is a masterpiece for an evil demon lord like me, you know?
我には好ましい景色だアンシャンテの再会
The scenery is very pleasant. Enchanté's grand
そ
reopening.
の始まりは前回の茶会の時だったのだからな
This is the same scenery as the last tea party where this all began. I also really like this place. Back then, when they all showed me how deep their bond, my hiccups, oh my gosh, how deep their bonds were with my grandpa, it still didn't really feel like months had already passed. I meant what I said. I enjoyed this place and how much peace it always brings me. Everyone chose their seats and poured their favorite drinks for themselves. Being just a tea party, there was no call for a formal toast. So then, let's eat. After thanking everyone for their prep work, I took a sip of the coffee I had brewed. Although Ingus's dishes were piling up everywhere, I savored all of the meals that were prepared. Mr. Rindo gives a carefree smile as he watches how I react to each dish I take.
すっかり君も非日常に染まっちゃって、おじさんはちょっと複雑な気分だよ。
You've really gotten used to this odd way of living, haven't you? This old man doesn't even know how to feel.
もうリンドウも諦めてさ、染まっちゃえばいいんじゃない？そうしたらほら、悩まなくて済むよ。
Oh, cut it out, Rindo. Isn't it better to let her enjoy herself? There's nothing to worry about.
そういうわけにはいかないでしょう。彼女が悪の道に染まらないよう、僕がちゃんと守ってあげないとさ。
You know I can't just stop worrying. I have to protect her and make sure she doesn't get used to any nefarious ways. How should I respond? Do I just stay quiet? The one who jumped into the argument between the two agitated men, it was unexpectedly ill.
私たちからすれば GPM の方がよほど悪の定義に近いかと思いますが。
To us, the GPM is far more aligned with such nefarious ways, I feel.
嘘。本当に？
Huh? No way. Really?
なんで意外そうな顔してんだよ。襲撃時の下っ端どもの態度、悪役そのものだったじゃねえか。
Why the hell are you so surprised? The way you treated your lackeys when we were attacked made you look like a villain.
詐欺まがいの行為に恐喝。果ては丸腰の少女をも巻き込み、銃を用いてまでの襲撃。
Questionable conducts and threats. In the end, dragging an unarmed innocent girl around during your raid.
誰がどう見ても間違いなく悪人の所業であったろうな。
Anyone would clearly see those deeds as those of an evildoer. Mr. Rindo let out a surprising emotion in the form of frustration and a frustrated grunt.
GPM が悪の組織なら、リンドはそこの中ボスかな？
If we're calling GPM an evil society, you'd like to be called the mini boss, right,
中間
Rando?
管理職だからあながち間違ってはないけど、なんか嫌だなその呼び方。
I am part of the mid-level management, so you're not exactly wrong. I can't say I like hearing it that way. As that conversation continued, suddenly I met eyes with Mr. Rindo.
そうだ。せっかく異世界や人外の話が出たんだし。
Oh, you know, since we're conveniently speaking of other worlds and
君た
non-humans,
ちのこと、彼女にもう少し詳しいことを教えてあげたら？
how about you all share a little bit more about yourselves with her?
せっかくも何も非日常がどうのこうのって話を切り出したのはてめえだろうが。
Yeah, real convenient, huh? To think the one leading the chat about non-humans would be you.
しかし今日はくしくもアンシャンテの再オープンという大事な節目。確かにいい機会かもしれんな。
Today's a very special day, commemorating the reopening of Enchante. It may be a good time to do so. Canis is over here just being nice.
もちろん、俺は構わないよ。彼女が聞きたいことがあるなら、何でも答えてあげちゃいますとも。
I, of course, don't mind. I'll be sure to answer anything you'd like to know, Leah.
マスター、どうでしょうか？私たちに改めて何か質問はありますか？
Leah, what do you think? Do you have any questions for us? Questions? Well, when you ask me like that, you'll prompt me to ask something, but it was so sudden, no decent question would come to me.
例えば、彼らの故郷のこととか、どう？
How about where is everyone from? I know where everyone's from. Mr. Rindo threw me a lifeline. What? Where is everyone from? Oh, I'd like to hear about that.
人外そのものについては、彼らとの交流で少し理解があると思うけど、異界そのものは全然わからないでしょ？
That's two different things. Where are you from? What's it like? Because she should know where they're from. They introduced it. They said the worlds, right? Like, Candace is from the fairy world. Kyo, I don't remember his real name, is from the Bestia world. That one guy, that one guy, he's from the angel realm. Ill. I'm sure you'll get to know these non-humans a bit more by interacting with them, but do you know about their worlds? Yeah, he was right. I can more or less assume that non-humans are like what non-humans are like from Monsieur and the others here. But beyond that gate, I still knew nothing of the worlds that were out there.
故郷。まあ話すのはいいけどよ。わかりづらくねえか、それ。
Our homes? I guess we could talk about that, but isn't that a lot to grasp?
そこはほら、僕がちゃんとフォローするよ。そう。これを使ってね。
I can help her out a little bit here by using this. Mr. Rindo pulled out a large tablet from the bag on the floor. What's that for?
僕のお仕事用端末。イグニスも言ってたけど、言葉だけじゃ分かりづらいかと思ってさ。
It's a terminal I use for work. Like Inga said, it might be difficult to understand just by hearing about it.
見せられる範囲でだけど、視覚的な資料があった方が分かりやすいと思ってね。
Though I'll only show you what I can, I just think it might be easier to grasp using a few supplemental documents. He quickly begins to operate the tablet.
まずは誰の世界が気になるかな？
So, Leah, who would you want to learn about first? I'm sure these options are somehow getting me onto a route. I don't know how yet. Let's see, the demon world. Can you tell me about the demon world, Monsieur?
お、それじゃあそこを牛耳る魔王様自らが解説してあげようじゃない。
Okay then, allow the demon lord master of this domain to educate you himself. Observed world number XXXX / demon world Asmodia. Losing its sun, the world is pitch black, its land illuminated by a dark moon. Its atmosphere is filled with miasma, with swamps of terrible poisons welling about. The non-humans that live there are called demons, who are creatures of impulse and fight in endless bloody wars. The leader of such a dangerous species is the strongest of them, Demon Lord Monsieur Alex. Additionally, humans, Monsieur Alex, is it not Rex? Because I thought it was him. Humans live in this world too. Not many, but every few centuries a hero is born of them. The heroes vow to rid the world's miasmas, and subdue the one responsible, the Demon Lord.
でもさ、実はアスモディアの正気って魔王とか関係ないんだよね。
Well, the miasms in Asmodia actually have nothing to do with the Demon Lord.
あれ、もともとの世界環境だし、万が一俺を倒せたとしてもどうにもならないんだけど。
That's just how the world is. Nothing would actually happen if I were somehow defeated.
勇者一族はその辺知らないっぽいんだよね。どうするんだろうね。俺が死んでも世界が戻らなかったら。
The heroes never seem to get that. What are they gonna do, really, if the world doesn't change, even if I die? That's the end of the report. However, this doesn't come from observations of Asmodia. It was simply a report straight from the Demon Lord Monsieur. This report was based on hearsay from him, and as such, we weren't able to verify whether or not his words were true. At the very least, I understood that the demon world is a very harsh world to live in just then. Demon world Asmodia, the world where demons live, ruled by the demon king Monsieur. Heroes exist there, making it a real-life fantasy RPG world setting. Just then,
勇者一族とかいうやつら、そいつらが不憫でならねえな。
those heroes, I can't help but feel sorry for them.
そう？勇者ってだけで無条件でチヤホヤされるんだし、意外とバッドエンドがお似合いかもよ。
Really? They're fawned over endlessly. Just for being a hero, it might be fitting that they are destined to meet their end, no?
あとレポートにもあったと思うけど、これ全部ミシェルからの話だからね。どこまでが本当なのか怪しいもんさ。
I think most of this was in the report, but I suppose Monsieur just wanted to say his piece. It's difficult to say how much was truthful.
あれ、信用ないな。善意で聞き取り調査に協力してあげたっていうのに。
Oh, you're so untrusting. I was only trying to cooperate with you out of the very goodness of my heart. According to Mr. Rindu, demons were a very rare species. Demon, races that inhabit Asmodia. While often confused with devils, devils are simply a race of demons, and Monsieur is not one of them. They are very rare non-humans and are hardly ever found. The only one who had actually appeared and was cooperative in ever being studied was Monsieur here. let's just do an order. I'm curious about. Can I hear more about the fairy world where Canis is from?
メディオについてか。ならば、我が語るべきであろうな。
About Medio? Certainly. Allow me to explain.
タブレットは私が操作しましょう。カヌスが触ると壊れてしまいますから。
I shall control the tablet. It'll break if Canis touches it. Every time I try to capture it before it fades. Observed world number XXXX, Fairy World Medio. A world populated by what humans consider fairies, a mystical, metaphysical creature. Fairies, half-physical, illusionary non-humans that inhabit Medio. Despite their rough appearance, Canis is also a legitimate fairy. It appears to be governed by a monarchy. According to observations, it is a world teeming with nature, its beauty ranked among the highest of all alternate worlds. World! Fairy World Medio, another world where fairies live, in Canis' home. It is blessed with an abundance of nature and is a home to fairies that inhabit the world ruled by monarchy. It is believed that the folklore rooted in the human world, such as Lian, Side, and leprechauns, derived from Medio. Liane Side, a type of fairy, as told in Ireland of the human world, they take the form of beautiful young women. They seek the love of human men, bestowing talents like poetry to them who accept her love. Leprechaun, a type of fairy, as told in Ireland of the human world, they appear as elderly men with tiny size, taking pleasure with mischief. Oh wow! To think it's such a beautiful world.
あの世界の美しさは我自らが保証しよう。
I myself attest to the world's beauty. The heavenly world, Kelm. Can I hear more about the heavenly world where Il's from?
展開についてですか。
The heavenly
なんと
world?
表現すればいいのやら。
How shall I go about describing it? Why does his voice sound so far away in comparison to everyone else? Observed world number XXXX/heavenly world, Calum. Calum? The world where the dietic species known as angels and fallen angels in the human worlds reside. Also, according to Il, abbreviated, of Enchante, the only being on record that has been communicated with.
展開ですか？とても綺麗な世界ですよ。
The heavenly world is a very beautiful world. Is what he had to say. Proceeding with further details of any conversation whatsoever was not possible. The world is assumed to have been created out of energy that is impossible to be described in a physical sense. End report.
リンド、これ会話は続行不可能とかもっともらしく書いてるけどよ。
Rindo, that report blatantly says any conversation whatsoever was not possible.
単にイルと会話を諦めただけだろう。
You gave up on talking to Il, didn't you?
仕方ないじゃない。君たち抜きでこのぽやぽや打天使様と会話するのは難易度高いんだってば。
It's not my fault. It's just too difficult to try and have a conversation with this chatty angel here.
おや、私は問われたことをそのまま答えただけなのですが、何か情報の過不足がありましたか？
But I just answered whatever you asked. Had I not given sufficient information?
ああ、平気平気。リンドウの聞き方が悪かっただけだから気にすることないよ、イル。
Ah, it's fine. Rindo just didn't ask the right way. Don't worry about it, Il. So there isn't much information at all written here.
展開はとにかく閉鎖的でね。 ほとんど調査が進んでないんだよ。
The heavenly world is just so insular. Our investigations haven't advanced at all. Heavenly World, Kelm, Part 1. That means there's going to be a Part 2. There's a hair on me. Another world in the heavens where Il lived. While it is a beautiful world, it is very insular. I don't know what that means, so I can't say it right. So the details are shrouded in mystery.
天使の存在自体、魔族と並んでレア中のレアだから、イル以外の個体も探しようがないし。
Just like demons, the existence of angels are the rarest of the rare. We have no idea how to find anyone else aside from Il. I see. That's why when those GPM officials attacked us, they were so surprised after hearing that he was a fallen angel. By the way, I heard that Il has become a fallen angel after breaking the law of Kelm. A fallen angel refers to an angel that has become tainted, right? Could that reason be... Angels fall when they break the law, refers to individuals whose wings have changed color. What color were they before? Divine non-humans with white wings on their backs inhabit heavenly world Kelm. In the human world, many legends and myths tell of such beings as the envoy of God. Individuals who have not fallen are sometimes called true angels, including fallen angels. They are very rare non-humans, and none aside from Il has ever been found in the human world.
ゲームか。
Video games, you mean?
ゲームじゃねえだろうな。
It's definitely not games.
ゲーム
Game?
まさかね。
Oh, no. Could it be Atomi games? Il tilted his head in puzzlement. Just by looking at him, we could all infer the truth. The beast world, Beastia. I'd like to hear more about the beast world where Ingness is from.
俺んとこなんざどうでもいいだろうが。
Who the hell gives a crap about where I'm from?
では、私が代わりに解説しましょう。リンド、
Then allow me to explain. Ringdo, please lend me the
あ、
tablet.
てめえ箱入り何を勝手に
Why was his voice so loud? Why is the angel's voice so quiet and his is so loud? I know I didn't mess with their voices. Yeah, there's all on high. The heck is going on? Just for my sanity, thank you. Why are you trying to do shut-in? I did it. I did it before it turned gray. Observed world number XXXX/beast world Beastia. An extremely cold land where a species thought to have evolved from animals. An extremely cold land where a species thought to have evolved from animals, demon beast reside. Although the entire landscape is covered in frost, several different species live there. The number of their types exceed even that of the fairies of Medio. Also, it is unknown why, but the frequency in which it connects to a wormhole is high. That said, residents of this world comprise a huge number of non-humans in the human world. Monsters whose base forms are animalistic and appear in human myths and legends are believed to have come from Beastia. Right as Il ends the report, Ingus takes the terminal away from him and throws it back towards Rindo. So that's what you mean by demon beast. I've always imagined it was more like the monsters that appear in manga or games.
ありゃどっちかってと魔族だろ。見た目も大体キモいじゃねえか。一緒にするんじゃねえよ。
Those are more like demonic, don't you think? They look gross too. Don't lump me in with them.
ちなみに、イグニスは人型をとっていますが、動物に近しい姿の魔獣もいるそうですよ。
By the way, though Ingus takes the form of a human, some take more animal-like forms. Non-humans inhabiting Beastia, many originate from animals, so there is a very large variety of races. I see. Could you do that too, Ingus?
あ？まあできなくはねえけどよ。こっちの方が楽だしな。
Huh, well it's not like I can't. This is just easier for me. I wanna see you turn into an animal. Could it be that Beastia is kind of like a big zoo? Beastia World Part 1. A world frozen and closed off by ice. Ingus's homeland. A world where animals developed into non-humans and demons beast roam.
おい、今なんかすっげえ失礼なこと考えなかったか？
Hey Leah, are you thinking of something super insensitive right now, are you? No, you're just imagining things. His wild instincts are too good. Well then, this is more about this world, but can I hear more about the GPM?
僕のところ？構わないけど。前にあらかた話しちゃった気もするな。
Where I work, I don't mind, but I feel like we've already gone through it. Oh well, not just about the GPM, but how the GPM sees non-humans. I've only heard about how GPM officials, including you, Mr. Rindo, have this idea that non-humans are just dangerous.
それはまあ事実だからね。
Well, that is the truth after all.
よし、その喧嘩買った。表出ろや、リンド。ローストリンドにしてやっか。
I can take you up on that if you want. Let's take this outside. I'm so dangerous, I'll turn you into Rindo roast. Ignis, calm down. Comments like that are probably how false perceptions like these are spread. For some reason, Mr. Rindo led the chat in a way that I'd ended up following through. In any case, it's easy to see more than one side of people by living with them. The demon lord who likes coffee, the demon beast who loves to eat, the straight-laced knight, the fallen angel who loves games. Seeing them all like this, it's hard to wrap my head around the concept that non-humans are fierce and evil.
なるほどね。まあここにいるメンツを見ていると、そう思うのも無理ないと思うけどさ。
That's understandable. It's no wonder, of course, you'd feel that way with everyone here. Although it's not like I just forgotten his warning that these men aren't human. It's just, how exactly do people from GPM define what's dangerous really means?
そういうことか。
I see. After contemplating for a bit, Mr. Rindo takes control of his tablet and shows me a particular screen.
別にこれは極秘でも何でもないから、事情知ってる君には見せちゃうけど。
This isn't really top secret, so it's okay if I show you considering you're involved. I forgot to take a screenshot. Dang it. The non-humans we are forced to remove are observe are usually divided into groups. Type 1, non-human, intelligent and capable of speech. In GPM, non-humans classification, it refers to non-humans with intelligence that are capable of dialogue by means of language. Type 2 non-human, incapable of speech and friendly. The GPM's non-human classification refers to non-humans capable of dialogue but are friendly. Type 3, incapable of speech and hostile. I'm not going to read those, it's the same thing. The mission of the combat branch is to subdue and deport Type 1 non-humans that show malicious intent and Type 3 non-humans. According to this, non-humans that are friendly aren't considered dangerous. That's how I understand it. If that's the case, then wouldn't everyone at Enchante be an exception?
表向きはね。でも結局、強大な力を持つ人外をそのまま野放しにはできないんだ。
On the outside, sure, but in the end, we can't just let non-humans with immense powers run wild.
巧妙に悪意を隠している人外もいれば、自覚なく力を振るってしまう人外だっている。
There are those who conceal their intent tactfully and later exert their powers.
そして、そこで振るわれる力というのは、大抵が人の命をたやすく奪ってしまうような
And that power
凶悪な
that's
ものだったり
exerted
するんだ。
can be at such a tremendously terrifying scale, capable of taking many human lives.
何かがあってから、誰かが傷ついてから、誰かが死んでから。
If something happens, if someone gets hurt, if someone dies,
人間はあまりにも脆すぎる。そうなってからじゃ遅すぎでしょ。
humans are so fragile by that time it'd be too late to prevent it.
だからさ、あいつはいいやつだなんて理由じゃ野放しにはできないのさ。
And that's why we can't just let them out free in the world just because they seem nice.
誰しも感情的にはきっといい方向に考えたいんだろうけどね。
Though I'm sure at a base level, anyone would think positively of them. I get it. I was able to understand something new by listening to you today. Thank you, Mr. Rindo. It seemed like the relationship between humans and non-humans ran deeper than I thought. Sorry, I was a little curious about this, but what's a wormhole? It was mentioned when we were talking about Bestia.
ああ、それか。なんて説明したらいいかな。言葉通りといえば言葉通りなんだけど。
How should I explain? It's literally just that, though.
空間に開いた穴でしょうか。性質としてはゲートと同じものだと考えてよいかと。
A hole that opens within space, perhaps? It's easier to think of it as a kind of gate,
ただ
essentially.
し、ずっとそこにあり続けるゲートとは違い、偶発的に発生、消滅します。
Though unlike gates, which are permanent, these appear and disappear on occasion. When you suggest to think of them as gates, you mean they are portals to other worlds?
各世界で確認される現象だよ。突如発生し、異世界同士をつなぐ。
They exist in
ブラ
all
ックホール
worlds.
とか落とし穴に似てるね。
They suddenly appear and connect another world, a portal to another location.
実はこっちに来てる人外の最たる理由がそのホールなんだよね。
Actually, the biggest reason why non-humans are here are because of these wormholes. Huh, it sounds like they're saying they get caught in them by accident.
本人たちにとってみればすごい不運だと思うよ。気がつけば異世界だからね。
I think they see it as a tremendous bad luck, like, oh no, I got sucked into another world, something like that. That sounds like an anime. Oh no! True, if you're just thrown into a world where the culture and species are different, those wormholes are pretty scary, huh? Is this what you were referring to, Monsieur, when you said there are other ways of coming to and from here besides gates?
そうそう、このホールのことだね。ただし、前にも言ったけど、行き来が表現的に正しいかな。
Right, yeah. I was talking about wormholes, although just coming here would be more of an appropriate explanation.
ホ
What?
ールは開いたとしてもすぐ閉じるから。長ければ数日持つけど、短ければ一瞬。恒常的な移動手段には使えない。
If a wormhole opens, it'll close quickly. Could be moments, days, or you never know. It's not a reliable method of
それと
transportation.
これも理屈はわからないけど、仮に同じ世界、同じ場所でホールが発生したとしても、 つながる先は毎度ランダム。
I'm not sure why, but for example, if two wormholes appeared in the same world, same area, their destinations would be random.
A の世界でホールに落ちて B の世界へ。そして運よく B の世界でホールを見つけても、そのホールは C の世界につながってるとかね。
Let's say you fall into world A's wormhole and go to B. In B, if you're lucky enough to find another, you go to world C and so on. Being such a mysterious phenomenon, if you did happen to fall into a wormhole, with extremely good luck, you might be able to travel world to world and come back to your own. That, all I can say is that sounds terrible.
ホールの出先ばかりは斧が運次第。好きでそこに居つく者もいれば、帰る術を失い。
Traveling by wormhole is pure chance. Some may enjoy where they are led, others lament their fate.
本当に稀だけどよ。人間界でもホールが開くときはあるからな。ボケっとして落ちないよう気をつけろよ。
It's super rare, but wormholes can even open here in the human world. Be careful. Don't be a dummy and fall into one. I got it? Is that something you can avoid by being careful?
それにしても飲み込みが早くて驚きだよ。
It's very surprising, Leah. You're taking all of this in so
メ
quickly.
ディオの説明に出てたリアナーシーやレプラコーンとか質問されるかなと思ってたんだけど。
I was sitting here wondering when you'd ask about Leonin CD or leprechauns. Oh, for those, there were books that Grandpa had left behind. I saw those and tried studying on my own.
ソアンの本ですか？
Sowen's books?
なんと、それは興味深いな。
Why, that is rather interesting. Yeah, I found a new old book while remodeling Grandpa's room. They were about legends and fantasy. I figured they might be related to all of you and somehow, and read them while I had time. They were for beginners, so it was easy to understand and the illustrations were fun.
へえ、ソアン。裏でそんな本読んでたんだ。興味ないとか言ってたくせに。
Always up to something behind our backs, huh? Even after saying he didn't have any interest in those things.
ガサツな人ではあったけど、あの人はあの人なりに君らへの向き合い方を考えてたんだろうね。
He was pretty carefree, but in his own ways, he was always looking for a way to connect with all of you. Monsieur smiles gleefully, while Mr. Rindo smiles solemnly, both of them running through their own memories of Grandpa. Wow, they're still learning things about Grandpa even after he passed away. I'll take really good care of his books. Immediately after making my declaration, my phone started ringing. After excusing myself, I looked and saw. My face froze at the name displayed. If it's your fucking job, hang up, girl. Who's the call from? My former employee.
それって君を散々酷使したっていう例
The
の。
ones that worked you like a slave? Yeah, actually, since I resigned, they call regularly, actually. Almost every day.
はぁ？
Huh?
望まぬ相手からの連絡。それは非常に鬱陶しいでしょうね。
A call from someone you'd rather not hear from. That's terribly irritating.
それ、もはやストーカーの域だね。
They're basically stalking you. My heart was racing at this terrible noise. This ringtone was basically screaming at me. I could ignore it, just like I had been this whole time until now, yet... Sorry, I'm gonna take this, okay? I need to do something about this already. I can't continue to be afraid of this shadow now that the Enchante is opened officially. With everyone watching me, my trembling fingers tapped the screen. Hello, this is Iwaki. You finally answered, have you been ignoring me? I didn't respond for a moment, taken aback by the lack of greeting and the attitude. What are you talking about? I've already resigned, you know. I've written my resignation letter. I quit for personal reasons. Are you kidding me?
別に仕事辞めるなとは言わねえよ。
I'm no jerk. I'm not saying you shouldn't quit. So
だ
then,
がな、うちだって新人のお前を雇って育てるのに時間も金もかけてたわけだ。
we had to spend valuable time and money to bring you in and train you, a total
仕
newbie.
事を辞めるってのはな、それを全部無駄にするって話だ。そこんとこ分かってんのか。
When you resign, you're not just quitting a job, you're throwing away all of that. Don't you get it? Ever since the day I'd started, my visions would go blurry every time I heard that screaming. There was always so many ways I could argue back to, yet for some reason, those words would never find their way out of my throat.
それでも辞めるっつうなら、きっちり引き継ぎを果たして辞める。社会人として当たり前のことだろ。
It's not normal, actually. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not working this job, but that's not normal. If you still feel like you should quit, you need to have someone take over for you. That's the normal thing to do, right? I'm trying to tell you I already gave you everything needed for everyone to take over my
そんな
workload.
ことで解決するわけねえだろ。次の新人を育てるまで残んのが普通だろうが。
She's been gone for 3 months, my guy. That's not going to solve the problem. It's only normal that you stay on until you finish training the new hire. This is too much. If I actually did that, they would definitely squeeze at least another year out of me. I'm terrified. Why are you terrified? It blocked their number. More than anything else, I'm scared of that voice that always tore down my self-worth. Still, it's not my problem.
あ
Huh? I've always told you that it will come to a screeching halt if you continue running a business like that you need to fix things. But even then, you wouldn't listen to me. You're the one who never gave me someone to help me out.
あ、俺が悪いってのか。
You're saying that it's my fault? Hell yes. Holding my trembling heart, I take a deep breath and decide to say what I felt. I found a place I want to protect far more than that company of yours.
生意気に転職したってのか。うぬぼれんなよ、お前みたいな高卒。甘やかされるのは最初だけ。
Think you're too good for us? Got you a new job, huh? You're full of it? New grads like you only get treated nicely once. You're wrong, and I didn't choose this place because I wanted to be treated nicely. Yes, I did have some intentions deep down for that to happen, but it's different now. The people here, they want to see me grow. They don't push me and care for me, and I take each new step. They're strong. They never fake anything. They show me everything, not hiding even their smallest faults. I'm very confused why she's talking to her boss from 3 months ago like this, but alright. Of course, there were still so many things I didn't know about them. But this, I could clearly say, I'm happy. Being with everyone here, to worry with them, to struggle with them, I don't really care what's going on over there. Just know I'm not coming back. This place, this is what's important to me now. As I finished, I realized my shaking had stopped. I don't think the old me would have ever said that. I was happy to struggle. I guess that was just how much living at Enchante had slowly healed my soul. My old boss stayed quiet after my speech. And you and I are both aware that it's been months since I quit, right? Why, through all this time, have you been? In that moment, I realized something. The reason why they would call a high school graduate who quit, who wasn't particularly amazing, so very incessantly, can it be that your business isn't able to run without me?
この野郎、調子に乗んのもいい加減に。
You little brat, get off your high horse and the labor bureau. With a mutter, those words trembled out of my reflex. As if realizing its ominous implications, the tirade of my former boss stopped cold. I've kept my own attendance records aside from what's in the company's system. If you intend to cause any more trouble to me and my cafe in the future, I will send these documents to someone who would be very interested to see them.
お前。
You. I have to go now. I pray we never cross paths again. I hung up. Everyone was staring at me hard enough to burn holes through me. I put away my phone, and after inhaling my lungs with oxygen as full as possible, I finally told them off. My body, which was ready to collapse, somehow grabbed onto the table reflexively. Seeing that, that was amazing. The first thing I heard was the Demon Lord's applause, followed by his compliments.
いや、ほんとなかなかの手腕だよ。
Seriously though, that was very good.
口車でうまくやり込めた上に、最後にはさりげなく相手を絶望に突き落としていく。
After stringing him along, you effortlessly threw him into despair at the last moment.
とてもいいね。さすがは我が魔王軍期待の新人。それぐらいはしたたかでなきゃ。
Oh, that was very good. I expect no less from a promising recruit in my demon army. This is the kind of strength we require. Mr. Demon Lord, sir, I have no recollection of ever enlisting. Along with Monsieur's snickering, the smiling faces from everyone else in the room helped me ease my tension.
僕も驚いたな。ちなみにさっき言ってた勤怠記録云々の話って？
I was surprised too. By the way, what were you talking about with that attendance record you mentioned? Oh, I kind of just made that up. Back then, there was no way I had any time to take anything like that.
出任せ上等じゃねえか。それで付きまとわれなくなるなら安いもんだろ。
Do they know what attendance records are? Some of these places aren't like our world, right? They don't just have normal jobs. Do they know what that means? I don't know. Not a bad lie there. A small price to pay if you can get someone off your back.
それに
Indeed, and also
素直に喜ばしかったな。この場所を誇るように大切な居場所だと言って
I
くれ
am
た。
simply so happy you spoke highly of this place, even saying that you wanted to protect it.
ええ、やはりマスターはアンシャンテを守ってくれる素晴らしい人です。
Yes, Leah, you're a wonderful person. Enchante is honored to have you. Oh, I finally realized what it was that I said in the heat of the moment. There was no lies, and I have no regrets for saying what I did, but it started to feel so embarrassing. Yeah, you did that in the middle of a phone call. A little time had passed after the recent incident. In an effort to cool me down after all the excitement, I drank some iced coffee. So, considering today marked the new beginning for Enchante, I'm glad I was able to finally say goodbye to that place.
まあそれは言えてるかもね。君にとっては異世界より何より元職場の方が怖い場所だったわけだし。
Yeah, you're right. Your last job was even scarier than any sort of alternate world we have on record. Yeah, compared to my last boss, alternate worlds with non-humans, none of that stuff holds a candle to how scary that was.
現地を見ずしてその判断はさすがに早計だと思うが。
I feel you might be a bit quick to make that judgment before seeing anything yet.
知識にないからこそなのでしょう。その本質を知らなければどう恐怖すればいいのかも理解できませんし。
That may be because she has no knowledge without knowing what they're really like. Oh my gosh. Without knowing what they really are, you wouldn't know how to be afraid of anything. So I said that because I don't know. Sure, that may be true.
それじゃあ行ってみたらいいんじゃない？
Well, why don't we go and see? Huh?
また適当なこと言いやがって。面倒なことになるのが目に見えてるじゃねえか。
Typical, there he goes again. I can feel trouble brewing.
先ほど林道から提供された情報をまとめるに、我々の故郷の中で比較的安全かつ観光向けな
Considering
のは
Rindo's information, the world that's the safest and most suitable for visiting out of all our homes would be the fairy world. Following the smiling messieurs, the one Inges and Il turned their eyes towards was
我の故郷、妖精界メディオか。
my home, the fairy world, Medio, I assume. The instant the world's name came up, Mr. Rindo leaned forward flustered.
君たち行くって、それ、もしかしなくても。
Wait, how about we go? You don't mean to.
そりゃもちろん異世界ですとも。せっかく徒歩0分の高立地なんだし、有効活用しなきゃ損じゃない。
Another world, of course. It's the perfect spot. A 0-minute commute. Just steps away. It'll be a waste not to go, right?
それにほら、百聞は一見にしかずって言うし、レッツゴー異世界へってね。
And besides, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, don't they? Let's find out. Come on, let's go visit another world. What? What? To my grandpa in heaven. Your grandchild has just officially taken over Enchante, and now she's about to literally step foot into an unknown world. Oh my god, wait, I was lied to. This is a route, isn't it? Well, it's after midnight, so I think we did it. I think we got on a route.
青
Woohoo!
ざめた死は
Can I save here? Will it let me? Will it let me save? Nope, it says main chapter, so it's not. Weird, interesting. Maybe they just go into each character's route after that. Sadly, the music stopped though, so my goodbye is not going to have a sound playing. That's okay. I said I was going to play till midnight. It's not. It's actually midnight, almost exactly. It's a couple minutes past. So hey, we managed to do it. We are continuing through Cafe Enchante. I might be playing tomorrow night. I'm pretty sure I will. It's going to depend on how I feel in terms of cleaning. I just need to clean a little bit, and if I don't clean, then I won't be. But if I do play tomorrow night, it's going to be about the same time as tonight, kind of late in the afternoon. But thank you so much for joining me for our second stream for Cafe Enchante, which I'm hopefully going to have done before the end of the month. My fingers are crossed. I'm not on a time crunch really. I want to play Cupid Parasite in February for Valentine's Day because it has Cupid in the title. It's perfect. There's nothing more perfect than that. And then on top of that, oh gosh, Sympathy's Kiss releases like the 27th of February, I think if I remember correctly. So we're gonna be playing that in March. So I have a little bit of a goal in mind. I will actually be making a schedule that I'll post on my Instagram and on not YouTube, on Twitter with what my stream's gonna look like next week. I also might be playing Lethal Company with friends again this Saturday. I'm not 100% sure yet because I'm waiting to hear back. They all said we were going to play again, and so we haven't actually nailed it down yet. But thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to see my newer stuff, you can check me out on Twitch. I stream on there a couple times a week. And if you're on Twitch and you want to see my older stuff, you can check me out on YouTube. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely night. Goodbye.